change the title, but not the category, so I'm going to fix that before people start coming in and telling me I'm in the wrong category.
We start as we mean to go on, always, Joe. Always.
That's a very British, maybe aphorism or idiom. What does that
Possibly.
mean? What does that mean? I don't know
We
what.
start as we mean to go on. It's
Okay.
a case of however you start. If you start in chaos, you're going to end in chaos. Effectively, is what it
Gotcha.
means.
Well, I love
So,
being effective because that makes people affectionate toward me. Wait, no, that's probably a whole separate neurosis we could deal with.
oh yeah. Oh no, no, no. We don't need to go into your individual neuroses. No,
Yeah, we don't have time for that.
we don't have the energy for all your
Sorry.
neuroses.
Mm.
Ah. I got before we start. I'm because Joe's having a flap. I
I'm
got
not
sent
of
you
having a
washi tape.
flap. What's having a flap?
Oh God. Got you, honey. You're in a. I don't know how to describe it without you. You're having a bit of a moment, but you know that's entirely your life. So.
Yeah, yeah, I was gonna say, like, I like to think that we're all having a bit of a moment, Cleo, and that's what makes each moment special, is that they're ours.
Yes.
But
Um.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm gonna start with new washi tape that I got sent from my friend's corpse. Um. And the first one is the Jesus egg washi tape because it's. I assume it's like a good egg. But it's egg with a halo on it, and kidney beans. Look, an entire 10-meter roll of washi tape that's just got kidney beans on it. That's all that is. It's nothing else. Those are
Wow.
kidney beans.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
so I like to think, I don't know about that halo on the egg thing, because on the one hand, obviously these are innocent souls, but
Yeah.
halos are most often used in Christian theology, which has a concept of original sin that needs to be wiped away by baptism. And so having a halo representing saintliness on an unbaptized figure is a really bold artistic choice there.
Well, we don't know that they're unbaptized. They could. I mean, they look like they're fried, but they could be poached. They,
Yeah, okay. That's
they
true.
could be poached eggs. It's fine. Uh, I understand. I understand the eggs. I'm not sure why I got kidney beans though, because corpse is a butt. Is all I'm saying about. Anyway, I'm going to put those away. But I thought I'd show them to everybody because I'll show them again when corpse arrives because corpse is bound to arrive at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what are you doing today, Joe?
Okay, so I'm still waiting to hear back from the Play on Con people.
Working in silence, I see.
Can am I on push to talk? Oh,
Yes. Yes, yes, you are.
so wait. Oh man, I hope you didn't miss my brilliant thing about the eggs and the baptisms. But it
Oh,
sounded like
I
you
saw
heard
that.
that.
I saw
It
that.
sounded like
I
you
heard
heard
that
that.
bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Cool. I was like, man, we're starting off on the wrong foot if we're not if we're missing gold like that.
I came in, heard Joe emphatically say original sin, and then an ad played. That's perfect.
Yeah. I mean, to some degree, is accepting advertising instead of direct payment the original sin of the internet?
Possibly.
Original
What should take
Sinternet,
all?
is that a thing?
Oh, it's somebody's made that pun somewhere. Um, I got organisers for my washi tape, so it's not just flung around randomly. So it looks pretty now. Anyway, I'm going to do my stuff. So, how you doing, Joe?
Good. So I didn't actually get to answer your question directly about what I'm working
Oh,
on.
oh yeah,
Um,
that's right.
yeah, yeah. So basically, I had my big long-term project I'm working on is this table
Mhm.
I'm decorating. And I went to the hardware store and I got a bunch of colored duct tape that I'm gonna use to put
Yes.
signage on the table that I'm then gonna stencil over. So I'll
Uh
use
huh.
like white duct tape to cover the whole surface of the table, and then like red duct tape to make a border that'll then stencil text onto.
Sense.
Yeah, and so I might start on some of that today, but the artwork for the underside of the table I can't really start on yet because I was waiting to see what the logo for this year's convention is, and I heard back from the organizers that they're not ready with that yet, or at least not for that to be public. So I can't necessarily work on that on stream. So what I'm going to work on instead is I've got an upcoming charity D&D game I'm playing in, and I don't have any character art for that character. And so I was going to start basically from scratch on this. I have the concept of the character, but I don't know necessarily much about what they look like other than their species, which is tabaxi. Are you familiar with them?
Oh gosh, I know what a tabaxi is. Yes.
Yeah, tabaxi.
But for those people who don't do D&D, explain.
Tabaxi is kind of like a cat person, like a bipedal cat, I guess.
That's pretty much the only way you can describe them, I suppose.
Yeah. So I'm okay at drawing people. I took 2 semesters of figure drawing in college, I think. Might have only been one of actual figure drawing, but like there was some drawing of people in other art classes I took. I don't think I've ever drawn a cat before though, Cleo. So I think maybe I should start by drawing a few cats.
Okay.
But and I found it can be really helpful to work from reference photos, right? So I could pull up pictures of cats that people have posted on my Discord or things like that and have like a lot of references there. But what I need to do first is I need to loosen up by sketching. And so if I was going to start sketching cats without looking at reference images, like how would I draw a cat?
Like in general?
I mean on paper with pencils in particular.
Do you want... Okay, you start with circles and go from there. It's kind of how. Okay. We're describing how to draw cats, right? Okay,
I've got a circle. Oh man, the camera's out of focus now too.
On the bottom third, draw a smaller circle. Not a tiny circle, but smaller.
Okay.
And then do an upside down triangle, a small upside down triangle within that circle at the top of it.
Maybe Britain has a different concept of a triangle. What?
Point down.
Point down?
Flat at the top, point down.
Okay.
Then draw a tiny little line.
Okay.
And then coming off that line in opposite directions, we want 2 little semicircles.
Okay.
And then on the top of the... Okay. Right, I'm being very specific because this is Joe. On the top of the circle, on the top third of the circumference, you want to do a triangle point up on where that third would intersect. So if you were to split the circle into thirds with a bit at the top, you want...
I'm not sure that I'm not getting this.
Okay, so if that big circle was split into thirds, yeah?
Yeah.
With one of those thirds running all the way across the top of the circle. Where those thirds intersect the circle, you want to draw little triangles.
Okay, I think I got it.
Right, okay. And then, oh my goodness. What you want to do is I can't see what Joe's doing at the moment, everybody, but feel free to go and see if he's following my instructions. Then what you want to do is you want to do a third of the way down the face. If you split the thing into thirds horizontally, you would actually no, halfway down the face. You would want to do I'm going to call them eyes, but let's do little almond shapes.
Okay.
You want and you want those on opposite sides, two, one on each side of the middle circle.
Okay. Oh boy.
And then you want to do two little lines in the middle of those. Well, a little line in each of those two. Let's call them eye shapes.
Sure.
And then, if we're going to do a body, do a smaller circle underneath. A bit smaller than the head, about the same size of the head. Let's go the same size of the head.
Okay.
And then underneath that, you want a larger circle, but pushed off slightly to one side.
Okay.
That sort of crosses over that middle circle slightly.
Okay.
Right. And then from that top circle, you want to draw from one side two parallel lines, which are, a bit meaty on either side. Put a circle at the bottom and then repeat that on the other side of the circle. It looks amazing, but I have to question if Joe has ever seen a cat. and then, on the larger circle at the bottom, put one circle, and then put a squiggly line out the back, and then run with a curve at the end, and then run another parallel line back. Joe's cat. Didn't mean to say something is very, very wrong with Joe. Accidentally. I'm now having to go look at this cat. I have to look at this cat now, because that's me done.
People in my chat are saying, "Wait, is this meant to be a cat?" People are coming in late to this, and that was the first time that they understood that this was intended to be a cat.
I don't feel like you followed my instructions.
I feel like I followed your instructions to the best of my ability.
I don't know that you did. It's let's call it abstract and be done with it.
You can't spell abstract without cat. I mean, you can, but some of the letters get jumbled up or whatever.
Can I just say, I can at least tell it's a cat.
Yay. Luigra says this is a very realistic cat, and Luigra is a real artist. So
see, I'm not saying that the fault is with Joe, but definitely the fault is with Joe.
Like,
I'm not saying it, I'm just implying it really heavily.
Thank you, Cleo. Okay.
When do we get a picture? Like, look, I'm not saying that that's a terrible... It looks like a cat on a skateboard. It does, but at least you can look at that and you go, yes, cat. I'll tell you what, Joe, if you painted that on a canvas and put it in an art gallery, people would buy it.
Yeah.
Yep. Joe did his best to not follow the instructions while technically following the instructions. That I believe. That
I don't know why everyone thinks that about me at all times, but...
Because it's blooming true, and you know it's true.
Because they're paying too much attention to me. I need to be under the radar more. Like,
you need to be less well known, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, no. Like, if people only glanced over occasionally, and then they were like, it seems like sometimes that guy doesn't know what he's doing. But, they look over so occasionally that they just, on some level, their brain's like, I'm sure it's a fluke. It happens to be lining up that I look over.
Yeah. When he doesn't look like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Because you 100% know what you're doing at all times, which is the problem.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
So... Oh, yeah, Cam, could you get rid of the text for me, please, honey? Thank you. I would, but I don't want to go and get my keyboard, which is next to me on the floor. There Thank you. Or another mod. It doesn't have to be Cam.
Anyone can do it.
Anyone can.
You can do it. Is that a thing?
It is now, and he'll hate me for that.
Oh, apparently I misattributed that 3-4 suggestion to you last week. For those of you who missed it, last week, Cleo and I were talking about obnoxious streaming, and and I thought Cleo had suggested that, why don't you do something obnoxious like stream in 3-4? That's so obnoxious it seems like something you would do. And so then I did a 3-4 pinball stream later that day, because pinball is so tall. Actually, 16:9 is a really bad resolution to stream it at. It's the opposite of what you want, actually. It's too wide. And so I did a 1440p, my first time streaming at a higher resolution than 1080p. I did a tech stream, well, technically two, because I had to restart after lowering the frame rate to make it not completely fail. Yeah, because 1440p at 60 frames a second was not gonna fly on my laptop. But yeah, so thank you, Cam, for that suggestion. Apologies for attributing that to Cleo. But honestly, her suggesting that I do something so stupid that I have to immediately go do it on stream after already streaming for 4 hours that day is exactly the sort of thing that she would suggest. So...
Yes, it was Cam's idea, but yeah, it is. It is the sort of thing you would do.
Yeah.
And it is the sort of thing I would suggest. So,
and it's the sort of thing that for some reason no one else is doing. Which I
wonder why.
Well, no. Okay, I'm going to say though, like I understand why people would not stream in 4:3 when they're playing Minecraft. But for tall games like pinball or certain types of music games that are vertical, or games you play with a vertical screen, it makes a lot more sense to stream at 4:3 than it does to stream at 16:9. And
Did it annoy enough people for you? Is what question I really want to ask.
Well, the thing is, because it was a tech check stream, half the people were like, "How come you keep messing with OBS instead of playing the game?" Which I was just like, it's in the title that it's a tech check stream. So, and then they're like, "Oh, I didn't see that." And then I'm like, well, there's a huge text overlay that says like that I'm messing with things, and it's like, okay, well, it's fine. So I definitely annoyed a lot of people, but not for the reasons I was intending.
Well, partial success.
Yeah.
Partial success.
I don't even know what to consider that. Is that a win or a loss? Yeah.
I mean, it's very you regardless. So.
Oh boy.
That is not how you draw scissors, but never mind. Doesn't matter.
Oh, those are good scissors. I mean, I could probably draw scissors if you described them without looking.
I would argue that you could probably draw a cat without looking. But apparently we proved that wrong.
I mean, okay, if I tried to draw a cat completely from memory, what I would probably do is I would start with the ears. Because I know that there's like pointy ears on a cat, like traditionally. And I think you were right that they have triangular noses, right?
Yeah.
So
easiest way to draw, right, I'm going to draw a cat like in the back of my journal.
And then they usually have like a weird distinctive smile. And then there's kind of rounded faces.
Easiest cat in the world.
Whoa! I just looked over. That's a really good cat.
Yeah, I was thinking it's an easy cat. Cat starts as three-pronged snowman. Add ears, tail. Can we name the cat Monty? Sure. It's cat from behind on a wall in a sunset. It's one of the first things I figured out how to cheat draw, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So, I think that this second cat is better, if you can see it.
I mean, the first cat was awful, but that's because you are Joe Hills.
Yeah. Sober
I
Veteran
don't really
Gaming
need to...
says nailed it. Thank you.
Cats are so cat-shaped, yeah.
Well, sometimes it's good to think about how you would do something in what do you call it? Not emote, in emoticon. So people would probably make a cat that was like a colon and then a 3, right?
What? Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So.
But that doesn't look like cat to me. That looks like mini baby Cthulhu now.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Right, with cats, if you're gonna do a nose, I always do like that.
Uh-huh.
You got the little tiny nostrils there.
Oh. Let me see if I can copy that. Oh, okay, that's interesting how you did that kind of like, and then and then those
How
eyes
does bullet...
are very ovoid.
Yeah, I mean, you could do them as kind of more circles, but you know, regardless.
I think I
Oh
kind.
no! Whoa! Oh no! Whoa! It starts.
Oh no, Cleo.
Oh no!
Thank you for the sigma suggestion, Mahi0. That's good. We'll add a sigma before our colon 3.
A sigma?
Yeah.
I've forgotten what that looks like.
It's a math thing.
Oh, I know. It's
like
a
a
math thing. I
sum.
know it's a...
It's like a
Oh, yeah.
it's like a
Yeah,
sideways
no, I know
M.
that. Yeah,
or like an
it's been
E.
a long time since I taught science and had to do equations. Thank God. Oh, no, whoa. The sum symbol. If you'd said the sum symbol, I would have understood the sum signal. Yeah?
See, if
I
you
did
told
not,
me to draw some symbol, it would probably be metal and have a drumstick hitting it.
That's because you are a pedant.
Yeah.
And that's okay, Joe. We believe in your pedantry because it's not going anywhere even if we didn't. Nah. There's some symbol. Thank you, Sam.
Some people would argue it's a Greek letter.
Some people are wrong. And also right, but mostly wrong. Screw you all guys. Yeah.
Cleo is mean today.
Cleo is always mean.
Yeah.
Just hides it through very good humor.
Okay. I'm gonna keep messing with the camera a little bit. I might need to adjust the focus. I'm not sure I'm happy with it.
Someone asked, I'm going to answer the question you actually asked instead of the typo that you made. What's the difference between bullet journaling and regular journaling? Not much, except you can decorate it the way that you want. And it's useful for me. So for most people, they would not have a planner for their videos because most people aren't losers who do videos.
They're
Most
winners
people.
who do videos.
I don't know about that. I've seen some other people's videos. You know, I won't go as far as calling them winners. But that's just me. And I am Cleo, and Cleo is mean apparently.
Cleo is sharp today. Okay.
I don't know what you think the difference is, Joe. I don't know. Cleo is always the same. Just slightly more or less vicious. Oh, Kiwi Trade Biddies, thank you very, very much. Thank you for the first biddies of the stream. Thank you very, very much. Cleo is not hostile. Cameron, I'll start putting E in your name if you don't stop. How to say serious? I'll stop. I am perfectly serious. It doesn't really help that whenever I do this voice, I start to cry.
I feel like I'm at the optometrist. I'm like adjusting these focus settings, and I'm like, this one or this one. A or B?
I
Okay.
The thing is, when I disagreed with my optometrist once, when I was doing the A or B, they said, no, A is clearer than B. Can you not see that? No, that's why I didn't say it was.
Mm-hmm.
And goes, try it again, A or B. Oh no, B is clearer. No, it's A. And I'm like, okay, bro, you just tell me what you think my eyes are. I won't bother taking part in this scenario. You know, it's just, jeez, dude, get a grip. Why even bother asking at that point?
I love that my chat is now full of people spelling Cameron differently. Lots of E's in Cameron.
The problem is that Cameron is Cameron. He's not Cameron, and it annoys him when people put E's in his name.
Oh, there's so many E's over here. It's
he's gonna fight someone.
whatever number of vowels are supposed to be in that name. There's more, and they're all E's. Is how people are doing it.
He's gonna. I'm sorry, honey. I apologize. Oh, I'm gonna hear about this. I'm sorry, honey. I'm J-String to make a list. Right. Oh. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Something that I find funny is not necessarily that something everyone finds funny.
Mm-hmm.
Only 5 minutes. You tried doing that for an hour. Actually, no, I've done that for an hour. It doesn't make any difference, to be fair.
Okay, so
no, you don't do it here. He can ban you here. Stop it.
Yeah, y'all have poor decision-making skills.
Yeah, I
Okay.
have no problems with Cam timing out anyone.
Cleo's room is now in emote-only mode, so you see what you get.
You see?
You
this
see
is what you get.
Yeah, this is why... Yeah.
I'm allowed to bully Cam. No one else is allowed to bully Cam. That's how that works.
Yeah, this is why you only protest the powerful when there's too many of you to arrest.
Yeah. Yeah, Push, but you wouldn't say it. Because if you did say it, Cam has your Discord. So... I shouldn't find this as funny as I do, but it's cool.
People are asking, is Joe drawing a cat? I don't know anymore.
The question is Joe drawing or just, you know...
There's a lot of ways you could put emphasis on that sentence. Like, is Joe drawing a cat?
Is Joe drawing a cat?
Huh.
Yes, that's true, Push. Come on, everyone, throw some hands. Since you've all got the hands, if you're following, throw some hands.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Are subtitles
How do you use the
optional?
blade on the
I don't
paper
know
without
how this
cutting
works.
through it?
Here we go.
Carefully. Sorry, what was that, Joe? I talked over you.
Oh, somebody said that I had your subtitles on. I thought those were just baked into your stream. I don't know.
Oh,
But
no.
Now that I realize they're
have-
not, they probably don't look good on my channel because your screen is like so
No.
tiny. So I've removed them. 'Cause
No,
they're
that's-
also
that's
covering
fine,
the art
yeah.
you're doing.
Well, we figured it was a nice accessibility thing since it was just installing a thing on OBS. So
Yeah, my accent doesn't do great with those, and so
that's fair.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait till the tech gets a little better.
That's reasonable. But considering I'm as close to RP as you can get without being RP, it's fine.
That's received pronunciation. That's what the news people speak. It's similar to a Thames accent, but a little bit more crisp. Is that accurate?
Yes.
I think that sounds
Yes.
accurate. I was using kind of a sarcastic voice there, but I think all of that was factually true.
Yes. Yeah, Cam does a lot of work on my stream, like all of the work on my stream, arguably, aside from the actual streaming part.
So yeah, I'm eventually going to be able to hire people to help me with my stream, but
Well, Cam's available if you ever need someone to hire.
it's more it's not whether or not people are available now, it's whether or not my business can sustain it. Or you know what I mean? It's
Fair.
it's about like what my capital expenses are coming up and what my income is and things like that.
No, I get that. Thank you, Macaulay, for the 5 gift subs. It's very, very appreciated. Yeah, Cam undercharges. I would argue
Cleo is crispy
I am crispy.
because of the
Also
receipt
salty.
pronunciation thing.
Yeah, I'm also salty. Chat.
Yeah. Yeah, I asked for a quote, or not a quote, but like an estimate for what I should pay someone to be an op on a Minecraft server for my patrons the other day.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you pronounce Pushpak. Pushpak. It's like push to talk, but
Well,
quicker.
It's a Lovecraftian thing, which is supposed to be impossible to pronounce. I call him Pushpak.
Okay.
But apparently it's wrong. But he's never stopped me. So.
But yeah. So Pushpak was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna show Cleo a screen cap, and so that she can see that other people are getting paid for this." And I'm just
aware.
Oh, whatever. But yeah, and Pushpak was also like, "But I would never let her pay me anyway." And I'm like, "Okay, well,
No, yeah.
well, you have fun bothering Cleo with my words. I mean, it's not like she doesn't get enough of it in other contexts."
Sorry, was I wrong, Pushed? Yeah, thank you, Kiwi with a vein and Kiwi for the biddies. It's very much appreciated. No. Yeah, Pushed has been doing my stuff. I need to work on getting other people onto that as well. So, not because Pushed isn't doing a good job. Push does a great job. It's just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Most people won't let me clear. No, that is my problem at this point. Like, I have people that have been with me since the beginning, and each time I go, "You're gonna, can I pay you for this artwork that you're doing for me?" They go, "No," and I'm like, "No, I want to pay." "No, but take it anyway." "I won't take it if you don't let me pay."
yeah. Well, and like my situation is more streamlined in that my lawyer has made it clear it could be bad for me in future custody proceedings if I have a bunch of people working for me for free. Because then it looks like I'm running a cult instead of a business, and cultists don't usually win their kids in custody cases, or cult leaders, So I could be saving thousands of dollars worth of his time in court by paying someone hundreds of dollars now.
That's fair.
So, and I get to keep my kid. Yay.
We are pro you keeping your kid on this stream.
Mm-hmm. Me too. So yeah, but yeah, so I'm usually only hiring people who have U.S. tax IDs as well, because I need to be actually paying or filing things for that. So, which doesn't mean you have to be a U.S. citizen. Like, anybody who came here for grad school, as a graduate student, you technically are receiving income, even if it's just in terms of your tuition and room and board being a scholarship. So, like, plenty of people all over the world have U.S. tax IDs.
Hype Train is trying hard to leave the station. It happens sometimes. Let's be honest. I've had a very good month on Twitch, so I'm not surprised if the Hype Train's going to be lackluster for the month, because people have been very gentle. Oh gosh, and there goes the Hype Train, and Joe did that at the exact same time. Thank you for the biddies push for the train boost, and work for the biddies. A better month incoming. That would be nice. I've had a very, very good month. So,
Well, and that's one of the reasons I was looking at, in the long term, I want to be reinvesting the money people are giving me into doing a better job at what I'm doing, right? By delegating things that aren't necessarily the core artistic element of what I'm doing. You know, I
Yeah.
want to hold on to the artistic parts and take a lot of the administration work and
Yeah.
paperwork and stuff. Planning, like I want to plan and from the brainstorming side of things, but I need other people to help me schedule stuff, you
Yeah.
know, so I don't
Understood.
overbook, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Um, so that's why, you know, I had a few days ago, I had asked, like, hey, how much is fair to pay somebody to have this level of responsibility? And
That's fair.
one of the pieces of feedback I got was a lot of people were like, I don't get paid at all, but I'm one of 7 people that share power. And I'm like, well, I'm not in a position to hire 7 people. I'm going to hire one
No.
person, and this is going to be a lot more stressful for them than it would be to share that 7 ways. So, you know, this is not necessarily a junior position either. This is somebody who has to have worked with communities like this before and also know how to be a server operator. You know, in theory, that person should be capable of training junior people later if we expand the staff. But like, I need to be able to just come in and have somebody up front who, at the core of it, can help me write the handbook for this job, because the handbook for this job doesn't exist yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah, understandable. Yeah, no, that makes sense to me. Thank you for Pushpock, Gwerk for the biddies, Strawberry Seal, who has resubscribed for 8 months, Cleo Rosie cheered biddies, Juniper Willow, Kiwi cheered 800 biddies, plus all the stuff Kiwi's cheered before. Thank you very much. Paleo cheered biddies. Thank you very much, all of you. That's very much appreciated. I appreciate you guys.
I think that one I made a dog by accident. I was trying to do that nose you did before from memory.
Do you want me to show you the nose?
Yeah, can I look at that again? Well, if that's not too in the way of you getting your washi
That's
tape
fine.
knocked out.
That's fine.
Okay. Yeah, because it was kind of... Okay.
Thank you, Push, for the biddies.
So... oh, that's way too wide. And then it goes up like that.
Yeah.
Then this is just a fancy bow. That cat has a bow.
Pushed is paying you to be here. I see. Yeah, that's how it goes. Thank you, JT, for the biddies. Appreciate it.
But
You
yeah.
good?
So anyway, so my plan was to kind of figure out how to hire somebody to do this, and like figuring out what are the qualifications we technically need, what are the training steps to make sure that this person is onboarded properly, like all of, you know, the things I need to do it right, you know. But you know, Cleo,
Yes, Joe.
so I was just saying the other day, like, not to you, but some of the audience here might have seen it when I said it in I was talking in another stream. Somebody asked me like, "Oh, did you order that thing last night?" And I was like, "No, I try not to spend money late at night." It's,
Yeah.
you know, like some people
It's a
be like,
mistake.
yeah, some people like it when they open their front door and there's like a box from
Mistake.
Amazon that they don't remember ordering in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
And
I'm just saying it's a mistake.
That terrifies me. I don't do stuff like that. So
Thank you, Disguised Fish, for the 3-month resub. It's appreciated. Yeah.
yeah, so anyway, it was like 1:30 in the morning last night. And
Yeah, that happens every night.
every night, yeah. And I had been doing a bunch of server work for one of my freelance clients, and I was just completely servered out. Like no more brain capacity for working on servers. And somebody on my Discord pings me demanding that something immediately be changed in the configuration. And I'm just like, okay, well, for one thing, people aren't supposed to ping me. But for another thing, it's very late, And
Yeah.
it is not a good time for me to be changing things on a server when I have been doing nothing but changing things on servers until I'm too tired to change things on servers anymore. I was literally going to bed because I was too tired to change things on servers anymore. And so at that point, I basically was just like, screw it. I'm too tired to do this right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to hire somebody that I know who's
Yeah.
been a mod in my community for a while, who also designs like Minecraft mini games and like understands like game design and what's fun for people.
Mm-hmm.
And just like, because they happened to respond to that message too. So I knew they were awake. And I was just like, hey, can I just throw some money at this problem by hiring you to just temporarily be a server op for like the next week or so? And you could do whatever you want. Like, I'm too tired to do this right. We'll figure out what works and what doesn't later, and then we'll have a proper thing.
Yeah.
But, we're just going to pilot this thing that I've been obsessing over doing perfectly right now. I'm going
to... Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So it's like, and since the person was already a moderator for me, it's like, okay, so add this amount to your invoice for the month, and I'm going to go in the other room and op you. And I'm just out.
And I'm just going to go to bed.
I'm going to bed. And I woke up this morning and I was so happy about that decision. Like, I was just, like, I was like, oh man, I see why people do, spend money on things impulsively in the middle of the night now.
Thank you, Cleo Rosie, for gifting that sub. Thank you, Mazer Time, for the biddies. It's appreciated. Yeah, no, I can see why. I mean, that made your life easier at that particular moment. Yeah. The things that I buy in the middle of the night is just like, I just want it and I can afford it and it's for work.
Yeah, and it's for work.
And it's for work.
Yeah.
So, yeah. There we go. You found your glue gun. Warning, I have found my glue gun. Alert, alert. Glue gun in the house.
Now, just out of curiosity, is that pronounced Commander Fivem, or is that Commander Sam with like a silly S?
It's 5 a.m., but I always call them Sam.
Okay.
So. Because that's what they said to call them, I think, at one point a while ago.
And if they didn't, and that was someone else, then that's someone else's problem.
I've been in voice chat with Sam, so all cool.
Okay, that's how you can tell if someone's cool, is if you're in voice chat.
I mean,
with them.
Well, no, it's just Sam's been in my community since for about 8 years. 5 a.m. or Sam, yeah. Thank you, McLesley, for the biddies. Yeah, no, like there are people that have been in my community since, like, that I know, that I recognize, and it's just sort of like Push has been in my community since pretty much like day one. They were one of my first few subscribers, I think, or at least first 100 or so. So back when I was young and got to know people who were in my community very well, because you could. Old as dirt. That's you, Push. Yep.
Oh, that reminds me. Speaking of people in our community, that new guy, Grian, posted. He made a gesture cap where you can put your name in.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Are you in that? Okay.
I'm gonna be. I'm not yet, but I'm gonna be. Okay. I'm gonna be recording tomorrow.
Because I think you have 4 days to get your name in there, and then on the 26th the drawing begins. So yeah, because I mean, I'm not saying I necessarily want to draw your name, but it would be fun to have you in the mix.
It would be easier if I drew your name.
It would be very funny if you drew my name to me, but honestly, part of the fun is that we don't know who's going to get who, and so I'm fine with anybody. Because, like, honestly, if you said, Joe, how do you think Impulse would mess with you? I don't have a mental model for that, and that's interesting. And like at the same time, I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna record this or stream this, because I don't want to show who I'm pranking in advance, you know?
That's going to be very difficult because people are.
Well, but like my brainstorming process is very public usually.
Mm.
And so I've got to figure out how I'm going to uh work on this.
Yes.
You know. Mahi Zero says
I
if you get green, just lava his base again to poke at his fan base. The thing is, like, most of the people, okay, when somebody's channel grows that big, the the amount of turnover can be kind of high. I would guess that 1 in 50 people on Grian's channel today would remember me lavaing his base 4 years ago.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe 1 in 50 is high. It would.
Very few, I think, would be around that long.
Yeah, so
because
it can't be an olden joke. It has to be something from this season, I think, really, no matter who I'm pranking.
Yeah.
You know, because it's a disservice to the, you know, we want to demonstrate that we appreciate the people who have been around for a long time, but the people we're making things for are the people who are watching us today. And a big percentage of those people weren't there then, you know? It's weird.
Mm. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. It's a whole weird thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've done my habit tracker. Done my video planner. I think we're into weekly logs. We're into weekly logs. Okay. I don't know how I'm going to do these this month, because I've got like a whole bunch of. I've been practicing which ways I like laying these out.
Mm-hmm.
Zombie milkshake? Are you doing things, Cam? Probably. I like this one. This one was very nice for me. Didn't leave a lot of art. This is the style that I like, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Like these boxes compared to these boxes, which are just big and they don't leave enough room to write properly on. So
I could see that. I mean, I literally can see that.
You can literally see that. I mean, this is too thin, because I was practicing with this one, and it's just sort of like I can have one word. This gives me enough room to write, and because I don't write a lot of things, I think this is the way I need to go in the future. Okay, I can start. I can start with that. What was my theme again? It was just ocean, wasn't it? It was just jellyfish. It was just jellyfish. Let's be honest. It was just jellyfish. Okay. When does March start? Oh, next week. No. Yeah, no, next week. April starts next week. March has already started, Cleo.
So I'm checking. I'm having my phone use the AI subject matter search. So on photos to see, I want to see if I had any pictures of cats, right? Because I'm like, I don't normally photograph cats, but maybe I've got 1 or 2. Okay, so the first 3 things are one of my friends in an inflatable T-Rex suit.
Yes.
One of them is a picture I accidentally took of the floor at a library, which has a whale puppet on the ground. 2 of them are my daughter climbing awkwardly on playground equipment in such a way that her hair, I guess, looked like a resting cat. And then I have 5 different pictures of Badger Spanner's cats that were sent to me. And also, finally, the a empty wall from the confessional shot from the American Office, where Stanley is in the background out of focus, and I guess the thing thought that Stanley out of focus in the background was a cat. So, yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot. Now I understand what Joe's confusion with the cat is.
Yeah, so apparently I don't spend a lot of time looking at cats. That much is clear. Cat much is clear.
Oh, Joe. No. Okay. I think I'm going to use this tape as a... Which way does it go? This tape is a border tape. And break this into... So the first of next month is on a Friday. So this journal page only needs to have 4 boxes on it in total. So that's cool. Your cat makes you look at him for hours. I don't know if the word makes there is doing some heavy lifting, but I feel like at a certain point that's a choice.
It's good to make choices as an artist, you know? If you're just letting things happen, you might as well just be the ground, having rocks scattered across you.
Little bit more in depth than I was thinking of going, but sure.
Isn't it?
Sure, Joe.
Uh,
That fits in gaming. Don't know about that.
Okay.
It's not a choice. He sits at the table and pushes off stuff to get your attention. Okay, no, that's very much like what a cat does.
Okay.
It's very cat behavior. You have a cat you would like more. Why? As someone who likes cats, cats get thrust upon you. You don't get cats, you just obtain cats. There's difference. Back to normal next week when our clocks change. Yes, that is correct. Mini Cheese Mouse, thank you for the biddies. You have 4. You do not recommend having 4. No. And if there is ever a point where I end up with 6 cats in my house, I'm going to cry.
That's too many cats for zombie Cleo. No, actually, I'm going to find a way to make
How many cats have you had in your life, Joe?
In places I've lived?
At once?
None.
Right, so...
Yeah.
Stop being snotty.
Yeah. Well, everywhere that I've lived that I've been in, like, quote-unquote control of, has had very strict pet policies where they're like, we would love for you to have a pet, but you have to follow all these rules and put down $1,000 deposit and pay an extra $500 a month. And it's just like, oh, so you want rich people with pets. I see.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So it's like, when people are like, oh, pets are expensive, it's like, I could see why, if even just having one in my apartment would be an extra $6,000 a year, you know.
Pets are very expensive creatures, so they're not wrong.
Yeah. Also, my parents had 5 kids, so my dad was always like, wouldn't it be fun if we had a pet? And my mom was always like, I have enough responsibilities, and this is going to end up on my plate on the days that nobody else wants to do it, so no. Mahi Zero says, my place wants $20 a month and $300 deposit. Wow, that's way better. I'm wondering if this is, like, kind of regional, or, like...
Might be.
Because there's a lot of college students here. It's kind of a way for them to offset other party damages. Or something like that. Like,
definite possibility.
It's a way for the landlords to make extra money to offset other random losses. Hey, welcome, Kyle.
Cats are cheap. No, they're not. Not if they're properly taken care of. They're not. Trust me. As somebody who has had a sick pet before, no.
Yeah, Mazer T says cats are cheap, housing is expensive. Yeah.
I pay insurance for my cats, which offsets the cost because I've seen how much it costs when they get sick. I need to take this out. This is wrong. This is wrong. I've done a wrong.
Oh no, Cleo, you can do no wrong.
But I can, because the week starts on Friday.
Oh boy.
Okay, I've got washi
Can you put
tape.
the washi tape over it and then like center
I'm gonna put the washi tape over it, and then I got like a whole bunch of like new stickers, like for like lettering. So I guess we're doing that.
Yeah, Badger says I will always have insurance for my cats after we had to spend £8,000 for childhood cat illness.
Yeah, my cats, I ended up paying 70 quid, but their bill was like over £2,000.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah,
it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I wasn't happy. I wasn't a happy bunny.
Yeah. Blaze from EBDB says at their Colorado, USA apartment, it was $400 per month for a cat with a $2,000 deposit. Yeah. See, it's... And somebody else says, Cryptic Finn says, making it very expensive is one way for landlords to say no pets without having the downsides of literally saying no pets.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Okay. Take 2 of doing this. There we go. $150 bill for Ping when she ate some chocolate. The bill's like $3,000 or something. Yeah, no. When I had Atlas eat that entire flipping Easter egg, yeah, her bill was in the thousands. But it was okay because, you know, my bill wasn't in the thousands because I have pet insurance because I have stupid cats.
Vicky, somebody says, that looks like Garfield. Thank you, because that's what I'm actually trying to draw right now is Garfield.
That's actually quite nice.
Yeah, so it's good that I'm not doing everything wrong all the time.
Only most things wrong some of the time.
Yeah.
Half a bag of giant chocolate buttons. To this day, I will not get chocolate out if she's awake. I am okay with chocolate because she doesn't... If she can't smell it, she won't eat it, I think. But to be fair, she did get up on top of the fridge and rip open a chocolate Easter egg and eat... that was sealed and eat the whole thing. Maybe I shouldn't keep chocolate out where she can find it. To be fair, I don't eat a lot of chocolate these days. So, you know, that's something. I've got one of my hairs stuck. Oh, no. Don't...
Oh, no.
Oh. This R is not behaving.
Are you not entertained? Dang it, does that work? Do people still watch Gladiator? I don't know.
I don't know. Is chocolate as dangerous to cats as it is for dogs? Yeah. It causes heart palpitations. She was on many drips and her hormone levels changed. It was not a fun time for her. And plus there was the giant puddle of chocolate vomit that I woke up to. So
no fun.
No, fortunately I knew which cat it was that did it because the other one was with me when I heard the vomiting.
Oh, because otherwise you're like, oh great, which cat is sick?
Which cat is sick? Yeah.
It sucks.
I've done that before, but you know, in my house it's usually GLaDOS because she's highly allergic to most things. So.
Oh man. So I wanted to find how to draw different cartoon cats. So then I googled how to draw Heathcliff. And apparently there's a bunch of people in anime named Heathcliff that are not Heathcliff the cat. It's
Oh,
like how to draw Heathcliff Urbe from Full Metal Alchemist, how to draw Heathcliff from Sword Art Online. I'm like, wow. But apparently Garfield, you say how to draw Garfield, and Google's like, oh yeah, we got you, fam. They know
we
that.
got you. We know Garfield.
Yeah. We know Garfield, but Heathcliff, wow, that's too esoteric. And I'm like, is it? It had a Saturday morning cartoon, like, it's in newspapers all over the United States. I think people know Heathcliff.
You would hope, but that's not a done thing, really. I suppose hoping.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think about which washi tapes would actually cover this monstrosity that I have wrought. Which, to be fair, is a very small monstrosity.
Oh yes, it's surprising there's not more. Is it Pride and Prejudice that has Heathcliff in it?
Yeah, that's
Or-
where my brain went when you
Yeah.
said that.
So he says, to be fair, Garfield is the main character. Heathcliff is the main character of the cartoon Heathcliff too. Like, it's Wuthering
Welcome to
Heights.
the 80s.
Thank you, Cryptic Fan. I was like, it's one of those British, like, undeniable fact that a man in possession of land must also be in possession of a wife type of books.
Must always want a wife, yes.
Yeah, or must be. Yeah, I don't know. It's.
I don't.
I don't remember the quote, but it's something pretentious about how everybody assumes that if somebody
it's
has land
satire.
that they need a. Yeah, I know.
Dear God, Joe. Pretentious.
I'm saying the
Jane Austen.
sentiment is pretentious.
Oh yeah.
It's expressed as satire, but there are people who genuinely held that opinion, that any single young man in possession of land must be in want of a wife.
Yeah. It's not quite the quote, but I'll let it pass.
I don't have it memorized. If I could memorize things, I would draw a cat from memory instead of Googling Heathcliff, which is going very poorly, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry, Joe. I'm not.
I know you're
I'm
not.
sorry.
Okay.
But it's nice for me to try and appreciate that I might one day be sorry. It's unlikely to ever happen, but
Heathcliff was a
one
comic
day.
5 years before Garfield was in the newspaper, and was a TV cartoon 6 years before Garfield was on TV. Apparently. People are
The more you
arguing
know.
on the internet about whether or not Heathcliff is just a bad Garfield ripoff. And that's the counter argument.
Well, the counter argument is that Garfield's a good Heathcliff ripoff,
Yeah.
which arguably is the case because Heathcliff's orange.
Yeah. See, now I just want to
Now you want to do what, Joe? Is it going to torment people? Because if so, I'm in.
Yeah, no, I wanted to do I was looking through the other day, in advance of my quarterly planning meeting on Thursday. There's this huge ongoing list where my project manager puts all the ideas that I say that are not immediately actionable, but like maybe we should come back to, right? Like if I said something like, I know a guy who runs a carpentry shop. It'd be cool to have wooden coasters with the @ symbol laser etched into them. Right?
Yeah.
But that's not something I need to do right now. That's not like this week. That's like I need to brainstorm what are all of the wooden related things I could do with this guy, and then, get quotes on all of them at once. And I need to have a process, and I don't yet, right? And I was looking through that list, and some of the ideas on there were very, very silly. One of them was to write a parody of the theme to MASH, like
Okay.
da 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 da.
Yeah.
You know that one.
Yeah, I know.
and-
Suicide is painless. Yes.
Yeah, and for some reason, like seeing this Garfield stuff and the Heathcliff stuff is reminding me of like old things from that era, and that just popped into my head. But my favorite thing on that list, the thing that made me actually laugh out loud, is apparently at some point I said in a planning meeting, every time Yahoo gets bought, whoever buys it ends up selling it for like a tenth of what they paid. And this keeps happening. So at some point, if this business still exists, I'll be able to afford to buy Yahoo. And so, like, you know...
Did MJ write this down?
This list has like 400 items on it, and one of them is by Yahoo.
Is NJ in the chat? I've got words for NJ.
She's at her day job right now. Yahoo.
Someone clip this. NJ, stop encouraging Joe to do things like buy Yahoo and like build a Scottish castle. I'm blaming this on you.
People in the YouTube chat are like, "Ooh, at symbol coasters, that's actually a good idea." I know, right? But it's because they're easy to. Okay, they you can mail them flat for one thing. They're unlikely to get damaged in shipping or in transit. They're relatively lightweight, but they're relatively lightweight and flat, so they're good for mailing. Was one of the things I was thinking about there. But
right.
Yeah, a lot of that was just that I was annoyed that I don't have good coasters. I was like, I need to go. Every time I buy coasters, I get them, and then I'm kind of like, I hate these. But, like, I can't just ruin every surface in my home. So I keep buying them.
I have great coasters.
Yeah, I bought some actual... Last time I went to East Tennessee, I got some actual nice leather ones from a distillery.
I've also got...
And I'm actually really happy with those.
I've also got coasters that I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
Which I like as coasters because they're good coasters, but they are a chatterwood. So, you know.
A cha-cha. It took me a second. I'm like, a cha-cha. I feel like I've heard that before. But like when I'm not playing Minecraft, my brain...
Wasn't Minecraft.
Yeah, I wasn't ready.
Well, it's one of those things that on my patron server, they know that I don't like a chatterwood, and they always use it in their builds, and it's just like, I'm gonna take marks off you. I mean, I don't give marks, but if I did, I would.
Mm-hmm.
I hate it. I hate it so much.
Welcome to Cleo's server, where we build with a cha-cha and talk about marks.
Yes, Joe.
Yes.
We don't like marks.
Oh, no.
If you're Mark in the chat. Baked beanwood. Goddamn baked beanwood. Ugh. Doesn't Corrales say a chatter? Yes, where do you think we got it from?
Acha-cha.
Acha-cha. Do you think we came up with it on our own? No. Corrales started it. We just... I mean, that's from season 2 at least. Probably.
Oh my gosh. No, I think season 1. Like, he's been saying to Schwammy for, I don't know,
forever,
longer than my kid's been alive. You know?
We've been friends longer than your kid's been alive.
I know.
That's horrific.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
That's okay. The inevitable march of time gets us all.
Yeah. Arguably, the thing I drew under your instructions is better than this Heathcliff.
I mean, I have very good instructions. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I know.
I am very skilled. I was a teacher, don't you know? You're a Hermitcraft newbie. You just started in season 8. Well, welcome to the old guard. We've been here a while. If there is a meme that you are unsure of, I'm sure that we can get hold of it and make it understandable. Well, you see, that started in season 6 or 5 or whatever.
Gaming Granny says, I could make you some mat coasters from plastic canvas. I appreciate that, but I'm specifically... Part of the goal of this project is to help my friend who's trying to get his wood shop off the ground. And
That's
so...
Cool.
Yeah, I appreciate the offer, but, like, to some degree, one of the ways that I'm trying to approach the merch stuff is I'm trying to hire people I know and like to make the merch. So even if it ends up being a financial failure for me, it at least helped somebody who is trying to build a business that I respect with their business, instead of a stranger.
Yeah,
So,
that seems reasonable.
yeah. Like, I accept that, like, there's almost nothing that you do with good intentions will be a complete failure. And I say, qualify that with good intentions. If I set out to try and do something good and to do it well, I might fail to do it well, but hopefully the intentions will diffuse outward. So even if I don't directly succeed at my objective, you
might help someone else succeed at theirs.
Exactly. And like it's kind of a mental way to I don't know, embolden myself to take risks that might seem too scary otherwise. Because I feel like it's not as much of a true risk, even though the type of failure I experience might be indistinguishable between the two. The net positive for others is higher, is kind of what I'm thinking.
That's cool. That's a very nice way of looking at things.
Thank you.
You're fine.
I was assuming you were going to say, Joe, that's neurotic as hell.
I mean, that doesn't make that not true as well, but it is, but it's also a positive neuroses, so
yeah.
I will support you trying to be a decent person, Joe. I'm sorry.
I appreciate it, Cleo.
I mean, to be honest, I'm just,
Cryptic
my
Fen...
own drag factor there is just...
Yeah. Cryptic Fen points out that it raises the floor on what the worst case scenario is.
Yeah.
Which I think
the worst case scenario is you've helped your friend.
Yeah, I think that, when you're taking a lot of risks, raising the floor for the worst case scenario is a good way to do it when you can.
Yeah.
So that's a good way to frame that. Thank you, Cryptic Fen. I appreciate that.
We appreciate you.
Simon's cat. Who is Simon? Is there a famous Simon that has a cat?
Yeah, Simon's cat. Yeah.
Is Simon's cat
That's a YouTube dude.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
He does really cute animations about his cat.
Ah, gotcha.
I approve of Simon's cat.
I will Google how to draw it.
I mean, Simon's cat should be an easy one to draw, to be fair.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's too abstract, maybe? Yeah.
Is this all for the play on con table?
No. This is for me brainstorming how to draw my Tabaxi sorcerer for this
of course.
charity
you
D&D
did
thing.
You did say. That's me not paying attention. Sorry about that.
Major Rasslin says, "What about the cat from Inspector Gadget?" Ooh, that's a good. What is it? It's Claw or something.
That's the villain.
Yeah. I forget what he named the cat. The name
Dr.
is
Claw
Mad Cat.
and...
MAD cat. Dr. Claw's pet cat who schemes with him. Wow, that cat is actually pretty good. Like, in terms of how it's drawn and stuff. It's weird, like, because you remember these cartoons being like, oh yeah, it was like, as a kid, like, it's fine, I'm sure they didn't really, like, I'm sure I remember it being better than it was, but like a lot of times the actual animation, like the artistry put into it was there, like.
Yeah, it was pretty good usually.
Yeah, and not every frame, but when you're doing 24 frames a second for 30 minutes every week, okay, they're not all going to be winners, but some of these are winners. Wow. Also, apparently NJ, somebody texted her that you scolded her, and she messaged me to tell you that she just writes it down, doesn't actually tell me to do it. Now, and I will say the value of this process, though, is that it frees me up to not have to remember to do it later. Like, instead of like walking around all day thinking like, I should write down that I want to buy Yahoo. like NJ writes it down for me, and then I never think of it again until I see that message, right?
NJ, do I have enough money to buy Yahoo yet?
Yeah, as
No?
as
Okay.
Yahoo lost enough value for me. Oh man. Cleo. Oh, okay. I gotta say though, um, to go back to the server op thing real quick while we're
Yeah.
jumping around. Do you have in British English? Do you have the word demiurge?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, for those of you who might not speak English as a first language or might not be familiar with it, it means like the concept of the Old Testament style God, who is wrathful and capricious and quick to act when called upon, but not always in ways that you would like, as contrasted to the New Testament more forgiving, merciful figure. And so people on my server call me, when I do the petitions, the demiurge. Because
why am I not surprised by that one?
because it's in that fashion. And so the person that I have hired to be an operator is named Yurgi. And immediately after announcing...
He's demiurge.
Yeah, immediately after announcing the hire, Vinsho Ken is like, wait, Demi-Yurgi? And it's like, okay, this is already paying for itself.
I have already amused myself.
Like, it's like, this is fantastic. I'm, like I said,
Not bad for his ego or anything, no.
No. Well, it's a woman, but, yeah.
I think Jan was talking about you being called the demiurge.
Gotcha.
Oh dear.
Yeah, but yeah, I definitely pinned that pun.
Ah, dear God. Looking at Thundercats as no. Thundercats are not cats, they're people pretending to be cats. Or rather aliens. I don't know. Was I just xenophobic about the Thundercats?
I'm
not sure. I'm not sure if that's a thing you can actually be, but
I mean, yeah. I think xenophobic would be the right word for, like, afraid of aliens.
yeah. I mean, literally, it's surely that's literally what it means, effectively.
Okay.
Can I use demiurge as a verb?
I mean,
Like,
the way English works is, as long as the other person can understand you, you're arguably speaking functional English. If the other person can barely understand you, you're speaking broken English. I mean, broken English is the most commonly spoken language in the world, so I think you're good.
yeah. There you go. You're officially allowed to use it, Graved. Oh, I can word how I like. We can all word how we like, so long as other people can understand us. And regardless, even if they can't, you can say what you like. Within reason. I thought I'd best add that before people started being obnoxious.
Paki Phallasauria says Demiurge didn't originally mean flawed god. It was used by Plato just to mean the creator in general. Yeah, I wasn't trying to say that it was... I wasn't trying to imply being flawed. I was trying to imply being different from the traditional New Testament Christian deity. Yeah, because most of the time when people use the word demiurge today, they're talking about an Old Testament god. At least in this part of America. I mean, and that's why I did ask Cleo, like, hey, do they use this word other places? And, you know.
I mean, I don't think it's necessarily used. It's just a word that exists in the English language.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
you guys have seminaries and stuff over there. You have places that people discuss religion. You just don't go to them.
yeah, we're not really a particularly religious country.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we're kind of like, yeah, do whatever, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. Leave me alone. Leave me out of this.
No, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So when I was at
Except for those
Vanderbilt,
people who absolutely aren't.
yeah, so one of the problems that we had at my university was that the philosophy department didn't want to teach any philosophy that wasn't Western philosophy. And
Okay.
so everything from the East was taught through the Divinity School. And the Divinity School didn't really have an undergraduate program. And so any courses you took on Eastern philosophy, you were basically in graduate student seminars, and instead of having to write 3 papers that were like 20 pages each a semester, you had to write 1 paper that was 10 pages to get undergraduate credit for that seminar.
Okay.
And so a lot of the courses I took on Eastern philosophy were 8-person courses where 5 or 6 of the people were graduate students pursuing divinity degrees.
Wow.
So
That's cool.
yeah. So
UK is legally more religious, but less actually. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Legally, like, we have more because of, like, the Church of England.
Mm-hmm.
But technically not really. So, yeah.
It's a question of, is it a more religious country or a more religious populace? It sounds like you have a less religious populace, but you do have an actual government church.
We have a state religion, effectively, yeah. Yeah, the UK's weird.
Kavman says the demiurge is important in Gnosticism. Yep.
Cool.
I'm working on the Mad Cat now. I'm not using a how to draw a Mad Cat thing. I'm just found the cutest, creepiest picture of this cat and I'm drawing it. This cat has like bat ears to make it look creepy too, which actually I kind of like. I don't think it's necessarily good for my D&D character, but it's a really interesting choice by the artists. Like it's a bold choice that pays off well here.
That's fair. Everybody take a drink. You're thirsty. You know you are.
Hey, Disco Peaches, thank you for joining us for the first time. Yeah, Cleo and I hang out every Wednesday morning and do art and talk.
Arts and crafts and just chill.
Yeah, this is something I look forward to all week. It's very fun.
Yeah, it's a nice thing to do. It's nice to hang out with your friends and no, that's it. I don't think I generally, hanging out with your friends. This is I don't do enough of that because, pandemic.
Yeah, that's been rough.
I mean, to be fair, I didn't do it a lot anyway because, I was exhausted because I was working 2 jobs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you're telling me. It's like, oh man, I was looking back over like these planning documents and stuff, and it's like back in 2017, I think, when I first launched my first realm for my Discord, I was like, this can't be a priority for me. Getting my wife through grad school, not losing my day job and taking care of my kid while still having some creative outlet on YouTube is my priority. Y'all have wanted to play together for a while, and I keep saying you guys should set something up yourselves, and nobody wants to. Everybody wants me to do it. So I'm going to set it up in such a way that I don't have to stress out about it or worry about it, because I'm just in a really busy time of my life right now with a lot of stressors. And I'm like 7 years later? 5 years later, I'm like, oh boy, somehow I'm in a more stressful situation than I was then.
Dear God, Joe. Nothing ever goes right, does it?
It's fine.
Generally speaking. It's fine.
Yeah.
You know when I say it's fine, it's never actually fine.
Oh, wait, have you been lying to me this whole time?
That's fine, Joe. It's fine.
Okay, it is okay that you've been lying to me this whole time. I accept that now.
Where has my... Oh, there's the tape. There's the tape that I want. Okay, so I'm gonna do a little bubbly diorama with fish in it and all sorts, because I've got this space.
Duskodair says, I'm in a 6-person philosophy module at the moment. It's a big contrast from undergrad stuff. Yeah, I really liked taking the graduate level courses I did. That's and the only graduate level courses I took as an undergrad were through the divinity school, because all the other topics I was interested in had undergraduate courses for them. I didn't, that was just the weird gap in the undergraduate system at Vandy. But yeah, it was really cool, and I really encourage you to maybe try taking a few courses like that when you're in undergrad, regardless of the subject matter, just something with grad students in it, to kind of get a sense of what their lives are like, so you can make a more informed decision about whether or not you want to pursue grad school. What? No, I think it's helpful.
Oh, sorry, I was not paying attention. I was looking at my chat.
Oh, okay.
What week starts with NO? It's notes. It's notes. I'm just trying to think about what I should put here, because I want to do like a little... I want like a few words as a quote, maybe. And I don't know what quote I want to put down. Like, if this is the live, laugh, love kind of aspect of this journal. Oh my
gosh.
And
I
don't know.
I've really, I don't know. There's something so funny every time I see that stuff, like in somebody's like webcam when they're streaming. And I really, this is the sort of thing, like, when you rent an Airbnb, I understand they need to fill the place with nonsense that nobody would want to steal. And so they just put up all these live, laugh, love, eat, signs that say like eat, relax, unwind. Nobody wants that in their actual homes, at least that I know. But yeah, so it's a really safe thing, because you can fill a lot of wall space in your rental apartment and then not have anyone steal it. But at the same time, I was thinking, like, if I had a studio with like several different like camera setups depending on what I was doing, there's something really funny about being like, let's go over to the live, laugh, love nook and just talk about this for a minute. And just have like a camera and lighting setup pointed at like one corner of the room that's just stacks and stacks of this stuff. Like,
my God.
I wouldn't actually steal them from Airbnbs, but I would like get a bunch of the stuff on clearance and then stack it up in such a way that it looked like I had just been spending 10 years stealing stuff like that out of Airbnbs, just surrounded by this stuff.
Can't live, laugh, love in these conditions.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I have a wreath and I got gifted a little hello kind of plaque, and I just put that in the wreath, and I thought that's white girl basic enough for me. And that's all I've got. But I do have something that is like proper in that tone.
Yeah, if we were going, we were talking about merch earlier, and it's fun to wander back to things. If I was going to have like the 3 single syllable verb Joe Hill's Airbnb apartment decoration, I don't think it would be live, laugh, love. Honestly, if it wasn't already a film title, like Live, Die, Repeat would kind of be a good keep adventuring video game thing, although repeat has 2 syllables in it. But like, yeah, I don't know what my live, laugh, love would be. Chat, throw out single syllable verbs that would be very Joe Hills, please.
I've got...
Oh my gosh, Tommy says mansplain, manipulate, male wife. Okay. That's not single syllable, but thanks, Tommy.
Well, that's the male version of gatekeep, gaslight, girl boss.
Oh, okay.
That's what's that from. I like
Gotcha.
live, die, loop. That's a really good, that's a really good one. Live, die,
Yeah, joke, jost, jive. Liara says, I feel like keep adventuring would be a good sign in general. I non-ironically agree with you on that, Liara. That's exactly the sort of bigger thing that, like, I would like to hire a carpenter to, like, make cool wooden signs that you could hang up in your cabin that said that or something. Cringe, cry, create.
I'm gonna just use live, die, loop on this page because it'll make me smile when I see it. So.
Jory says that our D&D party slogan is Gas Cloud Grapple Girl Boss. Okay.
Yeah, grapple in D&D is way overpowered. Just saying.
Yeah.
Because my group at this point is just sort of like, okay, right. What are we going to do? Right, well, we're going to put hold person on that person. We're going to grapple this person. And we've got a fairy who's grappling thumbs at this point. It's
in my Pathfinder character, because we had a bunch of people who were constantly grappling all the time. And I'm playing a wizard, right? So I took a spell called it's basically telekinetic grapple, right? And then I burned a feat called something like Giant Hunter or something that lets you grapple things that are size categories larger than you. And so so when the monk basically I don't use the spell unless the monk fails a grapple, and then I'm like, watch how it's done, and then I do it from across the room just to be obnoxious. This is not a good use of wizard feats or spells because, like, it doesn't really affect the flow of battle that much. And the wizard's class's goal is to, shut enemies down with extreme force. But, like, it's fun.
One of my favorite moments recently from my campaign is I'm playing a changeling paladin. So at this point, who is I changed myself into this guy's henchman, and then what happened was I knocked on the door, and then he answered the door, he opened the door, and then my entire party just leapt on him and grappled him into submission. Wizard couldn't even get a spell off. It was glorious.
Oh, nice.
And it was just sort of like everyone was just dogpiling on this guy, and the DM later tells us like one of his spells was to run into his bedroom and cast and create a dragon from his bed. And it was just like, and I didn't get a chance to use it because you guys dogpiled this guy. Sorry, Pushed, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry, but it's this party that I'm currently playing in is just like one of the most fun groups because it's just ridiculous how many times we just go, and now you're dead.
Okay, we got some good ones from Badger Spanner here. Live, love, nope.
Yeah.
Jalaska says roll, miss, die. Planet Person says green, grow, groove. And then, Badger Spanner says, suggested, in the spirit of one of my friends has an embroidery in his bathroom. You know how you can, like, embroider words? Cleo, you've obviously seen that.
I'm aware,
the viewers
yes.
might not have seen this. Some people like to embroider words. It's like pixel art made of sewing. And he's got a very fancy, large embroidery in his restroom that says, please don't snort coke in the bathroom. And so Badger Spanner suggested, please do not summon demons in the bathroom.
I'll do what I want.
Yeah. Okay. Sing, play, sleep. That's... Yeah.
That's not bad.
Actually, my theme song is lay your head down and dream. So one of the three verbs being dream, it's both a command to be imaginative and to collapse from exhaustion.
Yeah, I'm happy of collapsing with exhaustion.
I think, okay, of all of the verbs we've found so far, I really think dream is a solid one. Badger Spanner says, it's not a haunted house, it's a haunted home. Sarah says, slay, sleep, dream. Dream, draw, stream, laugh, dream. Ooh, dream and stream do rhyme. So,
yes, Joe, they do.
Live, laugh, love. Live, laugh, love. Something stream dream. I think stream goes in the middle and dream goes at the end.
Mm-hmm. You don't need to summon demons if you are the demon. Yeah. I like that as a cross-stitch idea.
Draw stream dream. I mean, I'm drawing right now, but the thing about draw is if we're doing things that have multiple meanings, right? Dream could be to imagine or to collapse and hallucinate vividly. Stream could be to go with the flow or to literally live stream, right? So draw means both to be artistic and to break even, and I don't love that. I don't
Scheme
love
stream dream.
What was it?
Scheme stream dream.
A lot of people are suggesting scream stream dream, and I love that. Oh, I was talking about this on Twitter the other day, Cleo. Because there was this thing where somebody posted this thread that people, like up and coming streamers I know, were retweeting about, like, I'm gonna talk about growth of a channel. Only my super followers on Twitter can read it, right? And
yeah,
like, I was like, people ask me some of the same questions that this person apparently will charge $3 a month to answer, but I'll answer them too, just in my own way. So yeah, for those of you who missed this, I said on Twitter, there's a few types of approaches to streaming, and one of them I see a lot of is growth-driven strategies for your channel. Sometimes folks ask me how to grow their channel, not realizing that any big numbers or hot nums I have are screaming into the void-driven. I'm not going to hide these tips behind a paywall. 1, find a void, Twitch or YouTube or whatever, I don't know. 2, explore yelling in ways that encourage you to have fun and learn new things. 3, yell until you're hoarse, or I don't know, a horse like Salvador Dali painted. Your choice! And then after that, I Googled horses Salvador Dali painted to see if any of them would be appropriate to attach to that tweet. None of them are appropriate to attach to that tweet.
No.
So I'm going to leave that as an exercise to the reader. But yeah, scream, stream, dream. Scream, stream, dream is the live, laugh, love of Joe Hills. Oh, Badger apparently went on Google and found that somebody already makes "Please Don't Summon Demons in the Bathroom" embroideries on Etsy. Wow.
Oh. I mean, no ideas are original, I suppose.
Nope. Well, I feel good about this. Scream, stream, dream. I feel like okay, how far? We're only 90 minutes into this. I haven't drawn, a good cat yet, which is one of the stated objectives of this stream. But I'm like 2/3 of the way to what this mad cat is actually coming along pretty okay here. And I think the Garfield's okay too. The cat-o'-lantern, I don't know, but yeah. Yeah, now I just needed to get oversized chrome letters. Mahi Zero says, Joe, put that in your Minecraft house. Oh my gosh. I should make a map store where I only sell oddly specific Joe Hills themed Eat, Pray, Love parodies.
I actually enjoy this thought a lot.
Like, oh my gosh. Scream, stream, dream. Oh my gosh. Oh boy.
You're doing okay, Joe.
I'm like stepping through what I need to do to find chunks that are out of people's way enough to do this.
I mean,
I've been flying all over the server.
You just go into the Nether, dig 1,000 blocks out, and then you're 8,000 blocks away from everyone.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
I mean, what I do
is I should ask Beef where he's set up so we can cooperate on the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but like, and then I can also help him with his stuff because I was planning on going out next to him. Yeah, Beef's doing the card game. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't, maps are maps.
Wait. Cleo. I just had an idea.
Oh no. Yes,
What
Joe?
what about maps where I just go to a random chunk, or not chunk, because that's too small. But you know how you can do the big zoomed out maps? You zoom the map out a few times. What if I just used normal areas and wrote words on the maps by only looking at them while standing in the places where I needed to brush the letters? What if I did map reading calligraphy? I could basically
You've seen those
move in cursive.
well no, I'm thinking what you could do is you could those posters, the what do you call it, posters, the motivational posters.
Yeah.
They have pictures of nature with
Oh,
words on them.
the despair posters.
Yeah, use those as your inspiration at that point.
Yeah. I'd like to point out we're about an hour and a half into this stream, and I haven't actually gotten any tips yet. So if anybody has tipped via PayPal, tell me in chat, because that's not good if my alerts are completely broken. Or otherwise, I would like to point out that this has been some of the best 90 minutes of entertainment I've done in a long time, and it's okay to decouple your evaluation of whether or not something is good or bad from how much money it makes you at that moment. Okay? Because, I'm having a lot of fun today, Cleo.
It's a very Joe thing to do, to be fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I understand.
Okay. I'm going to keep working on drawing this cat. Maybe people are waiting until I draw a good cat.
Yeah, maybe they are.
Maybe that's it. Are. Oh, this is a bad cat, though. This is an evil cat.
I'm sorry, can I just, Red's quote, eagles may soar, but easels don't get sucked into jet engines. And I know it's a typo, but the idea of just...
What is it supposed to say? Weasels?
Weasels.
Oh, okay, because I was thinking, because we're doing an art stream, easels are...
I mean, yeah, it would be fitting, but I'm just... that just tickled me so much. It was just like, the easels don't get sucked into jet engines. You're not wrong. I'm not sure how it's relevant, but
Easels don't get sucked into jet engines. Good job. That's
well done.
Very astute. You nailed it.
It's a good job that my regulars know that if I take the mickey out of them, then I actually quite like them, because otherwise my entire brand could go down the hill in 5 seconds flat with the amount I take the mickey out of them. Oh, sage advice.
Sage advice with zombie Cleo.
My brain was just like, I don't have an easel. Oh.
Helical Pixel says cat tips. It's all about the mouth. Them chomps. Well, we're gonna get to the mouth next. Don't worry. Actually, we're gonna get to the nose next. Okay.
Have you, Sam? I've not been enlightened. It's just... I can't. I noticed Red hasn't said anything since that. We appreciate you, Red, but you are quite funny. Which is a good thing.
Oh, I definitely screwed up this mouth.
Yeah, but, who's counting?
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, we got some tips rolling in, so the alerts are working. Nicolaus says, I was indeed waiting for a good cat. Well, thank you for indulging me early. And Rotation tipped 2 as well. Thank you very much, Rotation. That puts us 13 away from the first Phase Gamer expansion.
Why tip now if you're waiting for a good cat? I mean, to be fair, we would be here all day, so you know.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Quick crafting tip for everyone: when using the noose to remove something, don't slash it towards you. Are you speaking from experience, or have I just done that? Because, you know, it's possible that that is a thing that I just did on camera and cannot deny it. Although I absolutely would. You know me. Just deny everything.
El Moo says, Meowdy, that Garfield doesn't look horrible?
It looks okay.
Thanks. Yeah. Chainfitter says, can we see a close-up? Well, the thing is, the camera is focused at this distance, so if I move it closer, it's going to be out of focus. So it'll actually get harder to see. Mazer T says, that cat looks vampiric to me. Yeah, it's supposed to. It's got bat-like features. But that's part of the fun. Someone suggested Tom from Tom and Jerry. That's a great suggestion. Sorry, I don't remember who did that because it was like 25 minutes ago. But I was like, oh yeah, as soon as I get done with this, I'll do Tom from Tom and Jerry.
Might have been doing that to get something off George to replace. You might have cut your... Sam! I'm not one to talk about knife skills, though, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
We won't mention that.
Hey, we just got 6 rolling in from Magdalena. Thank you very much, Magdalena.
Yay.
Woo, that's going to put us now 7 away from the next face camera expansion. M. Mermaid says, I started watching Joe this Hermitcraft season, and he's quickly becoming one of my favorite streamers. I'm so glad.
That's really nice.
Yeah, because, you know, I make things that definitely, like, have a niche audience. I'm not trying to make something for everybody. But it's nice when people come in and go, oh, this is for me.
Oh, this is for me.
Because it's like, yes, technically it's for me, but I know that I'm making things for me in a way that's intended to be accessible to some people that have overlapping kind of, I don't know what you'd say, overlapping interests or overlapping, I don't know.
Overlapping personalities at this point.
Complementary personalities, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, some of the things Joe does, they're not for me, but they are for other people, you know? And I think it helps when, you know, you find somebody who you understand. You understand what it is they're trying to achieve. And you don't get that with a lot of people. Because I look at some people like, what are you actually trying to do here? Is it anything that I have interest in? Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't.
Yeah. Well, and that's why my Twitter bio, sometimes people are like, your Twitter bio is too vague. And I'm like, I think it specifically describes what I'm doing in a very clear way. It doesn't describe my actions, it describes my intentions, which then percolate through all my actions, right? And for those of you who don't have Twitter, my Twitter bio says, I can't bring you peace and joy as those lay dormant in your hearts, dreaming of your shared future. Instead, I will yell loudly and wake them up. So that's where the scream in Scream, Stream, Dream has another meaning that I really like. Like, this has been my Twitter bio since 2008, when I sat down and was like, what do I intend to do with Twitter?
Yeah.
And I feel like I have accomplished that to some degree.
Like, what am I accomplishing on Twitter? I am accomplishing not a lot, to be honest. Yeah. I feel like I'm screaming into the void some days.
Yeah. Hey, Leslie, thank you for the 5, who says, has Dr. Seuss been mentioned as a cat yet? Dr. Seuss does have a very interesting way of drawing cats. That's a good one. We should visit that later this stream.
Thank you for the biddies, Paleo.
Thank you very much, Connie, for the 3, who says not much. Well, hey, I appreciate it. That is actually going to put us past the first tipping milestone, though. So here we go. Please direct your attention down here to where slot 9 would be, so I can say, howdy, y'all. Grow Hills here, expanding as I always do in Nashville, Tennessee. Dee-da-dee-da-dee, dee-da-dee-da-dee. I'm also realizing that my camera wasn't maybe pointed at what I was drawing on. That's hopefully a recent development, because I picked up the abacus and shifted it. And then we got another 15 from Deanna. So thank you very much, Deanna. That's going to put us 4 away from the next Face Gamer expansion. Appreciate you.
Okay, those are the first 3 days of March done, and a live die loop. Little. I'm very tired. All of a sudden, my brain has just gone. You're sleepy.
Oh no. Yeah,
it's like whenever I hit like 2
sleep.
hours in a stream, in 2 hours of a stream, then my brain kind of goes, you're done. In general. Our Only Hope pun resubscribed for 4 months. Just wanted to say thank you for the bullet journal inspiration. Started mine and hope it can help me keep track of what I've accomplished this year. That's a nice way of putting it. That's a nice way of doing things, I think.
Oh, now you said that, I'm like, bah.
I'm sorry. It's like my brain has a 2-hour window for streaming usually, and it's just like, you're done. I'm like, no, I'm not. Yeah, you are. Oh, I found the first thing that goes through. And that is Silver Sharpie.
Oh.
That goes through.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Cat Dog, resubscribe for 3 months. Welcome back, Cat Dog.
Okay, wow. Tom from Tom and Jerry is really complicated. I think I want to draw May from Night in the Woods, which is one of my favorite video games. And maybe
Why
that's
is that?
it takes place in like a Pennsylvania coal mining town, like where my grandfather's family were for a few generations after they came over from Poland. And so it just reminds me of a lot of stories that my mom used to tell, and I don't know. It's I'm not sure how to describe the game. It's kind of like a series of mini games where you play as a cat who came home from college to your small, like, rundown Pennsylvania coal mining town, and there's like, you're just kind of spending time each day, depending on who you go talk to or where you go, you do different mini games. Like, you know, one of your friends is like, hey, I'm almost done with work, you want to go throw fluorescent lights out in the parking lot? And then you just go throw fluorescent lights out in the parking lot, like light bulbs.
I would really like to do that. I know it's like,
it's a very experiential game. It's yeah. It's very
God,
good.
that's March. Sorry, I was just looking at the thing after I just said like it starts on a Friday. I looked it up, and then there was like the first is on a Tuesday. I'm like, oh God, no, it's March. I'm fine. It's March. I had a little tiny heart attack and an oh no, because thank you. I hate all of you.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Hey, welcome. I am Kanika. Welcome, Mr. Hardluck.
They decided that I said I was tired, and then they went, haha, no. You don't get to do that.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it, and Mae Borowski, the main character, the cat you play as in the game, has a face that's roughly the same oval size as the oval that I made here when you were giving me cat drawing instructions. So I kind of just want to replace this whole giant oval here with Mae Borowski's face.
So rude! That was a thing that I taught you how to draw, Joe. How very dare you!
Okay,
oh,
well,
no.
we can draw it elsewhere then. Skyvy says, Joe, do you have a process to help you set intentions? It's something I struggle with and was curious. I don't have a process for setting intentions because I think my intentions are basically set. Like, it's more how do I act on my intentions that I need a process for.
But what are your intentions, Joe?
Well, I want to provide for my family while setting a good example of creating things that are important to me, and provide stability to my family as needed. I mean, like, I want to provide. I want the things I create. I want to be disruptive, because one of the things I recognize that I have a bit of a chaotic nature, and so it amuses me to provide stability for my family by being disruptive and bizarre in other ways, in other outlets.
I mean, that sounds very valid.
So, yeah, I mean, basically, I want to make and do weird stuff that are hopefully provocative in ways that are positive, because I want the world my daughter grows up in to be better than the one I grew up in. And I know that it's hard to judge how effective I am at that. So I just try to do a whole bunch of things that I expect to never actually see direct results from, but that seem like good ideas at the time.
Seems lovely.
Yeah. Basically, my intentions are to do a good job with the information I have available at the time. Like, I don't know. Like, and
I just ask. To be honest, can I tell you why I asked?
Sure.
So I don't have to speak in the other voice.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for thank you for letting me kill time. Yeah.
You responded adequately, and I am proud of you, Joel.
Yeah.
You are. But actually, that's a really good way of doing things, and I think you should be proud of yourself. So, yeah, no. Your intentions are good, Joe. You are a good person. If that was ever in doubt. Shouldn't be, because you're kind of decent.
Okay. Arrow Awesome says, my teacher says if I want to use a YouTube video as a reference, I need to ask permission. Do you mind me using your moon measurement device from S8 as a reference in my paper? Well, I think that something that is published is granting that permission by the act of publishing it. I wouldn't have published it if I wasn't okay with people referencing it. But I'm not going to provide explicit written permission, because that's not a business I want to be in or something I have time for. Does that make sense?
Referencing is okay.
Yeah. If somebody wanted to reference one of my poems, they don't need to ask my permission for it. And in fact, if they ask my permission for it, they'll never get it, because I don't have time to give that permission. And that's the same thing for my videos. Hey, thank you, Christine, for 10, who says, I love how
question your teacher, to be honest.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that's
Joe.
a weird policy. Christine tips 10 and says, I love how two friends just chatting while crafting is inspiring me to pick up drawing again. See, thank you. This is just me doing what makes sense at the time, putting some good out in the world, and I'm glad that we can be an inspiration.
We're here to do the good sometimes.
Yeah. Daniela.
Okay.
Daniela tips 4, which... Wait. Actually, hold on. That 10 got us past our next face camera milestone without me realizing it. Hold on. So here we go. It's time to expand. And then Daniela tipped 4, which gets us halfway to our next milestone, who says, has the Cheshire Cat been mentioned? Love your stuff. Discovered you from one of your streams. Can't wait to join more. Thank you. Cheshire Cat's a great suggestion. That one hadn't occurred to me. And then Mr. Hardluck tipped 2, who says being disruptive and bizarre is the Joe Hill's difference. Thank you, Mr. Hardluck.
That's what we're here for, the Joe Hill's difference.
Well, and that's the thing, is like, and this is something that I've struggled with as a server operator, is I think people are paying me to be weird and artistic and disruptive, and so I want to create experiences on the servers that you couldn't get from anyone else. But a lot of them are also like, it's the middle of a pandemic and I just want a place where things make sense. And I'm like, oh, I want to help people during the pandemic, but paying me to make a thing that makes sense is not a business I want to be in. Like, that's you're putting me in a rough spot here. Like, that's one of the reasons I was glad to hire Yurgi to manage some of this stuff for me, because Yurgi is a great game designer who has been a paid moderator in my community for years and knows the people. right? And it's like,
Yeah.
Yurgi, if people want an experience that like feels safe or makes sense, you can use your game design skills to figure that out in a way that I can't. If people are asking me to play against my strengths, either they need to hire somebody else instead of me, or I need to hire somebody else instead of me. Because if I'm playing against my strengths, I'm going to be way more stressed out and I'm going to do a bad job, right? And so, yeah. So I'm really excited about this decision. Like, this was something I was hoping to do in the long term, but like just pulling the trigger on this pilot, I'm so glad I did it. Anyway, we got another 10 or via Skive, who says, thanks for existing. It brings me joy. I do what I can. That gets us 2 past our next Face Gamer expansion milestone. So here we go. Oh no. OBS starts freaking out a little bit when it gets this big. So sometimes it doesn't work when I try to do this. Hold on. Here we go.
This is where I keep on saying you should set up some stuff to do it for it. But you know what?
No, but it's performance art, and I should be the one performing it.
I agree. I understand where you're coming from, but you know.
Yeah.
I think we've established that we do streaming differently. So.
Yeah, everybody streams differently. Let's see. Badger Spanner says, it made me realize I have literally none. Just living day to day is one of the joys of chronic illnesses. I'm assuming you mean you don't have intentions or organized and planned intentions. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, honestly, trying to figure out what to do when I was coming off like 3 months of bed rest, when my digestive problems kept being misdiagnosed and they kept putting me on the wrong medications, and it wrecked me. And when I came out of that, I lost my career, which was my plan was to be a Marine Corps infantry officer, because I wanted to travel the world and I wanted to put myself in a position that I felt like would give me the ability to both do good things and hit the brakes on bad things. Because like every time you read about like a platoon leader in Vietnam or a company commander going nuts and just like burning down a village, like somebody could have stopped that. And now there's going to be certain things militaries do that are part of their core mission that are violent and bad. But there's overreach that occurs too if people who are capable of saying, I'm okay with going to jail for refusing an order if it means avoiding an atrocity occurring in the moment now. Now, realistically, the military legal system is designed so you should theoretically, if you refuse an order to burn down a village, you should get a trial that you will win. But you don't know that. And this is a conversation I had with everybody else in ROTC. Like, we shouldn't be signing up to be officers if we aren't willing to go to jail to protect people. We are taking a position that is going to put us in a place where we might have to make hard choices. And we might personally suffer for them, but I think that has a value. And hopefully that never happens, or if it does happen, we're vindicated later, but no one should become a military officer who isn't willing to go to jail. I feel very strongly about that. And so, yeah, I really, I was completely lost for a long time after that. And so finding ways to put good out in the world by creating art was something that my friend, who's actually named Art, helped me with. And if I was writing a movie or a book about my life, that would probably be really heavy-handed. Now that I'm thinking about it. Like a fictionalized version of my life. It's like, and then Art showed up and gave me an opportunity to express myself. It's like,
wow.
So yeah, I really and like, my experience with chronic health issues is different than every other person's experience with chronic health issues. But
Yeah.
I absolutely can agree that it is easy to have a huge sense of loss if whatever you kind of felt were your primary intentions in life are stripped from you by that illness, on top of whatever physical problems you're dealing with. It's not something
Like
that you
physical.
fix overnight.
Yeah. I mean, I have a chronic condition. It's not a chronic pain condition, but it's a chronic condition. And fortunately, I've got now meds that deal with it, but it's still there, and it's still, all the hospital visits and all the stuff where they don't quite believe you that this is a problem and all that sort of stuff. That really affects you, and it affects the way you live your entire life. And I was fortunate that it didn't impact my work. It just impacted my self-esteem, and it impacted my all the things that it did to me well, aside from the physical stuff, were mostly personal and mental. So I didn't I didn't have to worry about work.
Yeah.
So I still could be me, but I could push that off in one sense. And it's being now in a position where I can do this for work. I feel so lucky, 100% lucky, because it's tough. It's tough doing that when you've got a chronic condition.
Yeah,
I like how I could just see Joe just walking after I'm doing this, saying this, and Joe's walking.
I have my headphones on.
I know, but it's just made me laugh.
It's because
you
you insisted that I not draw over my existing oval, so I went to get my oval stencil.
Oh, I see. It's my fault. Okay.
I'm following through. I was giving you an opportunity to share while going out of my way to go get a tool that will enable me to preserve your artistic vision. I felt like that was me being supportive in two ways.
That's fine. That's fine.
So,
I was joking, Joe. Don't worry.
People are yelling.
Oh,
go on.
You don't seem like you have a fill in any disability that doesn't put you in a wheelchair. Yeah. Those are always nice. Well, that's the problem. Even those people who are in a wheelchair, or those people who, in the UK, we have blue disabled badges. Even if those people have those badges, there are people that come up to them and say, well, you're able to walk, therefore you're not disabled. That's not what that means. That's not what the word disability means. And it makes me cross. It makes me cross the way people treat disabilities, and especially invisible disabilities. So,
well, and I will say that being self-employed has really let me set my own pace for certain things in a way that's been very positive for my health, because even though they eventually figured out what was wrong with my digestive system, and I've adapted what I eat, when I eat, things like that, to minimize the impact. Yeah. It's easier for me to manage all those things when I'm in charge of my day, and not I'm not okay. Well, the other thing was with commuting, I couldn't eat certain things at certain times. I had to be way more narrow about my diet and my schedule in order to ensure that I could drive a car for a half hour twice a day at awkward times. And then it's just so much healthier for me to be my own boss and make my own schedule.
Yeah, my chronic condition has been absent for a few years because of all the meds and stuff. I've had it so under control. And when it flared up a few months ago, I was in an absolute state. And being able to control when I could work made such a difference for me, because before it would impact work, and then I would have to have meetings and stuff about absences, and it's a nightmare having a condition like that and not being able to set your own hours.
So that was one of the nice things about having my own office, is I could just close the door, vomit, tie up the trash bag, take it out, okay, keep working. It's where instead of oh, if I actually manage this properly, I'm not getting sick all the time. Like, you know, it's funny because like I was talking to some of my coworkers about this at one point, and they're just like, "Oh, we had no idea you had any problems like that." And I'm like, "Well, you know, I try not to let it impact how I treat others or whatever, you know."
I like that badger.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm glad that I've been able to minimize the impact onto people here, but it's really hard on me, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing about, like, a lot of the way the world works is if you are in any way disabled, have a chronic condition, anything like that, it's you have to minimize your effect on the people around you rather than them making accommodations for you. And like, even though legally they have to, getting those accommodations is hard.
Yeah.
You know? It's just, it's a nightmare. Well, yeah, the sunflower lanyard thing is a thing, Badger. You're not wrong.
And this is one of those things where I would rather systems be designed to help people who need it. Rather or like any system ever. Somebody's going to try and scam it. Somebody's going to try and skim. Somebody's going to try and be corrupt somehow. You can't make a corruption-proof system. So the question is, if you're going to have a system that somebody somewhere takes advantage of anyway, how do you design it so that the most people who actually need help from it can get help from it?
Yeah.
And, you know, I would rather err on the side of generosity and, like, you know, okay, if 90% of the people on some sort of social program are literally taking that money and building Bitcoin farms with it, then let's reevaluate that. But if it's like, well, some of the people who are getting food assistance are making $10 more a month than the cutoff, it's like, I don't care about
I don't
that.
Care about that. That's not a valid enough reason.
Like we can't. I don't want to hire a bunch of food assistance cops to chase down $10 a month from a bunch of people. Like, no. If somebody's literally driving off with trucks of food to resell them in another country, that's a different scale of corruption that we do need to deal with. But so, yeah.
The corruption is never as bad as people say it is, which is the problem.
Yeah.
Like, it's like these people who are trying to live are trying to live on a little bit more than what we said they should be able to.
Yeah.
I don't care.
My gosh. Oh my gosh. Drew Baca. It's one of my favorite things about having a Discord chat for the Patreon patrons is that it's the only chat you can post images in, right? And so sometimes people do art during the stream and they post pictures of it. And Drew Baca has this amazing, it's like a floral print background with, in calligraphy, Scream, and then under it in a different handwritten font, Into the Void. Stream like no one's watching. Dream. Lay your head down and. It's just like Queen Dark Lady says stream like no one's watching is so incredibly motivating. Yeah, that was actually a Penny Arcade t-shirt. They had a thing of like 0 viewers, 0 followers, 0 likes on a t-shirt that says stream like no one's watching. So I can't actually use that in my merch because they sell that, and there's no way I could pretend I haven't seen it. It's super iconic. But yeah, it is legitimately great.
That's awesome.
But yeah, thank you, Drew Baca, for sharing that. I love that. And then also, Super Cool had a interesting typographical thing that's more of like a 80s comic book style play on Scream, Stream, Dream, and that's fun. Yeah.
Yeah. That does sound cute. Scrounger press is the worst. There's never anything positive about people on benefits. Yeah, no. I agree. It's just the thing is I've always got this kind of like there for the grace of God kind of thing that goes on in my head at that point. Mm-hmm. Whenever anybody does that, I'm just like, how far away am I from needing all those benefits? And the answer is never very far. Mm-hmm. So why would I, I am like one chronic illness away from that, you know? So Why would I stop people getting benefits? And it's always these people that are just like have never been ill in the day in their lives that do it. And it's like, just let people be people.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have issues with those, with the way that the media presents entire people.
Yeah.
Even the ones in wheelchairs experience it. Yep. This is what we do.
Okay. Well, this is not going to be...
You're on disability and don't work. You must have so much time on your hands. Do people not understand what disabilities are and how time-consuming being disabled is? And the answer is no, isn't it? I've just answered my own question.
No, I think you've answered the question. Well, and that's the thing, though, is everybody is dealing with different things. You know, no two people with the same medical classification for a disability have the same experience with that problem precisely. It's very individual. So much of life is very individual.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's it. I feel like there's a big empathy gap in general. And
yes.
And so I guess, yeah. And
take a moment.
It's a whole thing. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying. Like, there's a million ways you could go with that. Really, conversationally, like, it's such a big problem. It recurs at almost every level of every system of government we have, in social things, in media depictions. You know, and that's the thing, is storytelling is one way to bridge empathy gaps, and I feel like there's opportunities for people like Cleo and myself to try to share truths about our lives, not because they're going to be true about your life, but because they might help you better understand how different we are from you, and then you would extend the same grace or patience with other people around you that you do with us. Like, wow, Joe's really weird and different than me, but I like him and I think he's a good guy, might help you see other weird and different people around you and go, maybe they're good too. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. That does make a lot of sense to me, but, you know, I already kind of like you, Joe.
Well,
thank you,
Cleo.
CatDog, for the 5 gift subs. It's very appreciated. But, you know, it's a case of building empathy. And, you know, this person I like is having this sort of issue. Maybe the way I look at these things is not correct, and maybe I should correct some of my thoughts. I mean, I think that's you know, they're obviously not gaming the system, and they don't seem to think other people are gaming the system. Maybe I should look at my views again.
Yeah. Well, and like I will say, you know, I'm somebody who I built very complicated I built systems for a living, making business tools for my clients and websites and things. Like, everything we build has to be built assuming that there are bad actors out there in the world that exist.
Yeah.
But the actual goal of the tool is always to help people get something done. And you need to make sure that you're helping people get something done when you're designing anything, because otherwise, like, if something is a completely inaccessible box, you don't actually need to build the tool. You could just write on a piece of paper in Sharpie the thing they asked me to make, and then lock it in a drawer or burn it, and it's equally useful.
Yep.
You know?
I know. And I'm sad that I know. I mean, yeah, stories are a really good way of getting people to live outside themselves for a moment. So
they're exercise for the imagination and for empathy. Because if you can't empathize with characters, you're not going to enjoy the story, you know?
Yeah, and if you can empathize with a character, you can start applying that to real people.
Yeah, it's good practice, even if it doesn't map 1-to-1. But you know, a lot of practice doesn't map 1-to-1. Sitting in your apartment, you know, practicing the violin is not the same as performing the violin as part of an orchestra or on the street with a hat busking. But there is a lot of overlap, and
Yeah.
it's helpful to do it even if it's not the actual whole thing. It's helpful to do the pieces of it one at a time sometimes, and to practice them even when you think, yeah, I got this down. Like, I don't know.
General Mayhem, when you're talking about specific people, and say they're so great for what they do and they push through, and I've got a lot of respect for that. It's a case of, what if they couldn't push through?
Yeah, I spent 3 months on bed rest because I couldn't push through. I was in the best shape of my life. I could run an 18-minute 3-mile, do 20 pull-ups and in a minute, and do 100 sit-ups in 2 minutes. That's like the minimum for being a Marine Corps infantry officer. I was in the best shape of my life. I had gotten to college and I weighed 125 pounds. And, you know, there's a joke about you gain the freshman 15 because of the food
NJ.
or whatever.
Yeah.
I gained 25 pounds of muscle in 1 year. I was 150 pounds of muscle. And in the best shape of my life. Quarkus says that's a perfect 300 PFT. If you're going to be a Marine Corps infantry officer, you need to be able to do a perfect 300 PFT. That is literally, that's the baseline. You aren't going to be a good leader in the Marine Corps if you cannot do that. You're not going to make it through OCS if you can't do that. Okay?
Yeah.
And so what I'm saying is I had every physical advantage in terms of powering through some sort of illness. And like when they were checking, because they checked everything. This was like really this digestive issue manifested in a way that looked like it was respiratory. And then when it wasn't respiratory, and my body freaked out in response to the steroids they gave me for that, because it turns out digestive issues respond very poorly to steroids. They checked a bunch of stuff. Like, they did an ultrasound on my heart, and the person was like, I don't ever get to do ultrasounds on hearts this good. This is bizarre. Like, cardiac-wise, I was fine. I was in incredible cardiovascular shape. I was in incredible muscular shape. But my digestive system just decided one day that it had been too stressed out, and it wasn't going to have it. And
it was done.
It was done. And I spent 3 months thinking on bed rest, what if the rest of my life is on bed rest? What if I'm struggling to get to the bathroom, dizzy, trying not to fall over every day for the rest of my life? I'm dependent on other people to bring me food or to help me stagger to the dining hall on the days where I felt like I could maybe walk 100 feet just to see if I could. And like, yeah, so it's like, I'm glad that, you know, some people are like, wow, Joe, it's really inspiring that even though you dealt with that, you're doing this now. But like, what if I couldn't?
Yeah.
What do I deserve in that case? I think that it would be nice if, you know, I wasn't just completely forgotten by society or ignored, because I might still be able to contribute something, even if it wasn't this. I don't know what that is. And I was terrified the whole time to think about how horrible a process it would be to find out. But, you know.
So, yeah, it's a case of when you're saying, well, this person managed to do this and this and this, so I respect him for pushing through. And I'm like, but you need to be aware that some people just can't. And when you're saying you're proud of this person, you need to actually say, okay, you can be proud of them, and that's great, but you can't, like, even pretend that that's the norm.
Yeah, you can't expect that. I was very lucky that finally one of the doctors figured out. So I went to the asthma, sinus, and allergy program at Vanderbilt, and they gave me they're like, okay, we're gonna give you a grid of injections. Basically, it was like, I think like I think it might have been a 6x4 grid of needles, and each one had a different irritant in it. And they hit my arm with it to see what I might be allergic to. Just, and, you know, it came back, and every single thing popped way positive. And the doctor was having me do breathing tests and all this stuff. And he's just like, okay, so how long have you been allergic to this stuff? And I'm like, I haven't. I'm outside as much as possible all the time. Like whatever. And he's just like, okay, so clearly your body is under insane stress, and we need to, if you were actually this allergic to all of these things without proper medication, you would have been dead going outside over the course of the last 20 years. There's no way somebody is this allergic to this stuff and is fine. And so he's just like, based on all the insane data that your body is giving us, it's probably not respiratory or allergies. It's just manifesting that way. There's something that they give people who have certain types of stomach problems that isn't necessarily prescribed for that, but can really help. And I'm going to put you on that, and we'll see if it works. And, you know, I would almost attribute this to the placebo effect if it weren't for the fact that this was like the 5th medication somebody put me on like that. And every single other one had terrible side effects. But that one, the next day, I was walking around campus and I was just like, oh my God, I haven't been outside in the sun like this. This is amazing. The day after that, I was back in bed because my muscles in my legs were like, not, like the big muscles were still fine, but all the little connecting muscles, you know, that you use to walk.
You just did two, you just
like,
ran 800 miles.
Yeah, they were like, you should not have walked a mile yesterday. You screwed up. So I was back in bed the day after that. But at that point, it's like, okay, we know it's digestive. And we know that most of the symptoms are caused by my body just being under too much stress because of this undiagnosed digestive thing, which has then been like even accelerated worse because of the being put on the wrong medications, like the steroids and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And so, but like until then, it was not getting better.
No.
There was no like, oh, this is going to be fine. This is just gonna be. And, you know, that, like, and for some people, that's how it is forever.
They're in forever.
They don't get that diagnosis that I got with the medication that actually works. Now, of course, because this medication was prescribed to me what they call off-label, which means it was prescribed to me for something that it wasn't intended to treat, my insurance company ended up pulling it. And then I ended up having to do a bunch of dietary modification and other things after they pulled my ability to get the pills. And so, like, you know, at this point, I'm now dealing with this without medication. But, like, in a sane country, that wouldn't have happened either. Because that set my recovery back a lot. Because, like, you know, I forget if it was 6 months to a year later. It feels like it was probably, like, time kind of is fuzzy around then. But I think it was about a year later. Like, I was just finally bouncing back when the insurance company was like, you can't have this medicine for this.
That's ridiculous.
And so, yeah. Like, I have a lot of empathy for people who want to see improvement in the healthcare system and who want to see improvements in the disability system. From personal experience. And, you know, there is a strong argument to be made. Joe, you shouldn't have to experience something firsthand to be empathetic toward people with that problem. And I agree with you. Logically, that is true. But sometimes when stuff like that does happen to you, that really accelerates that empathy formation. And, like, I definitely know that I would not be as open-minded about some of this stuff just because of where I was raised in America and things like that, if I hadn't experienced it firsthand. And so, you know, that's something where I try to bridge the gap when I can with people who were raised in a similar environment to me, but who haven't had that experience firsthand, to help them see, like, why that empathy is important.
Yeah. No, I don't really have anything to add to that, but
Sorry, I'm talking a lot, Cleo.
no, that's fine. It was just a sort of like I remember thinking when my own condition flared up, just like when it first started, it wasn't constant, and then it progressively got worse and worse, and then I'm just like, what if this is forever? What if I have to be in hospital every few months for the rest of my life? You know, and it's like, it plays with your brain a lot, and you know, it took me like some time to, you know, figure out that, you know, what I was going through was serious because it was intermittent at first. And yeah, no, it just absolutely plays with your entire life. And if somebody you know is going through some kind of disability stuff, they are going through something really painful and hard, and a lot of people don't see that they're going through that. So if somebody's going through that, it's like, yeah, when they're not from birth, you have to deal with grieving who you were. Fortunately, like I say, like the drugs that I use are, the medicines, because they're not technically drugs, have like made it virtually disappear, and I feel thankful, because, you know, I could have lived like that. I would have been in a lot of pain, but, you know, I wouldn't have liked living like that. But people have to, and I would have found a way to cope, but, you know, it's tough. It's tough, and it's scary. So yeah, just be careful. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes accepting things that ain't going to get better. You're not wrong. It's wow. Today went cheery, didn't it?
Yeah. Well, to kind of bring it back around in a positive way, you know, part of what got this started was talking about goals and intentions, and I think it's important to be okay with not having big overarching goals, especially in times of great turmoil like we're dealing with this pandemic and this Russian invasion. Like that's a major impact to the global order in the long term. And like things are going to be way different in the next few months than they were a few months ago, and they're going to be even more different a few years from now than they were a few years ago. And so having good short-term ways to spend your time that positively impact others, it doesn't matter if it's what you're going to be doing for the rest of your life or whatever. It gives you something to take some control over the situation now and make it a little bit better. And sometimes when you do something small, that's it. You did something small and that was nice for the other people. And sometimes you inspire somebody in a way you don't anticipate, and you can never know which things you do are which. It's just one of those things. And so, like, I really have tried to avoid setting any numerical goals for myself or my streaming stuff the last few years, because if I start chasing numbers instead of focusing on trying to do a good job taking care of my kid or building something that's meaningful to me artistically, I'm going to fail no matter what. And yeah, there's a lot of things that used to work that I was like, oh, if I had more time, I could build my channel by doing this or that or whatever. But those things might not make sense in a pandemic, or they might not make sense with a lot of things that are changing right now. And so I'm just going to do what makes sense at the time. And I'm going to accept that at the time is a much narrower band of time right now than it might have been 5 years ago.
Existential dread for the day.
I was trying to be encouraging. Did I fail?
It is, but you mentioned all the existential dread stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, we have existential dread.
I mean, in fairness, a lot of our streams, I think this is why some of the other hermits maybe are just like, yeah, you know, I'm going to sit that one out, because they never know, like...
Are they going to get... Well, to be fair, we never get serious when another hermit is on the stream.
We try to keep it lighter, yeah. We try to be good friends and, you know, do what we can to make people feel welcome. But like, yeah, realistically, I could imagine somebody being like, oh, I wonder what Joe and Cleo are talking about today. Maybe I'll pop in, and then going, no, you know, I think maybe
I
next week.
don't need to talk about like individual disabilities and stuff. No, it's fine.
Yeah. That's not what I wanted to do with my morning, and I don't blame them. That's fine.
I don't blame them though.
Yeah.
You gotta
in fact,
do whatever.
My chat got very quiet too. Like,
mine didn't.
Okay.
Like mine were all just like they like we obviously hit a nerve for my chat. We're all talking about like their own experiences, which absolutely valid. If you need to share your experiences in this situation, that's fine, but be aware that being off topic is difficult to cope with as a streamer. But since we're talking about it now, we're cool. Yeah. Okay.
Mahi Zero says we were letting you preach, Joe. Well, it's not intended to be preaching, but I appreciate the sentiment.
I don't think it's. I think that was just. They were agreeing with you, so you're kind of preaching to the choir. I think that's where that was going from.
No, that's fair.
Because I don't think you were preaching. I think you were trying to explain.
Yeah, and M Mermaid says, I'm deep in thought now. Blaze says, sometimes you got to know all you can do is listen and understand to the best of your ability. Super Cool says, not quiet for bad reasons. I appreciate the stories and advice. Yo-Yo says, we were just thinking.
People were being empathetic. That's what we want. Go done.
Yeah.
We've won the internet.
Pitt says, this seriously helped me. I'm loving all this. It's refreshing to hear. Thank you, Pitt. I'm glad. But honestly, and this is one of those things
Thank you for talking about it. Yep.
Yeah, where it's good for me to, you don't want to dwell on these problems. If I woke up every day and the first thing I thought about was those 3 months on bed rest, that would be really bad. But in the same way that going back and revisiting a story again, rewatching a movie that you loved from 5 years ago or 10 years ago or 15 years ago, or reading a book again and seeing like what's different about you as a viewer or a reader now versus when you read it or viewed it the first time. I think sometimes it's good to have things that we think about occasionally, and then it's an opportunity for us to see how we respond to it differently. You know, this is not a story I tell every day, and I don't think it is a story I should tell every day. But I'm realizing that between talking about it now and maybe the last time I went into it at this length or depth, it's been probably a few years, and I'm a different person now, and I think in good ways, and that's kind of reassuring to me. So I thank you all for letting me talk about this, because it benefits me to occasionally revisit it. And thank you, Cleo, as well, obviously.
No, that's fine. Well, I've talked about my story. I don't think I've actually ever really spoken about it online, because it's a weird topic. It's a weird topic, and I don't ever quite know how to talk about it in terms that don't co-opt the struggles of others, because I'm okay now.
Yes.
You know? And I wasn't ever functional, and I think other people's struggles are much more I'm going to say valid than mine, because mine was dealt with.
Well, and that's such an interesting word choice. I think that's worth examining, because I have the same kind of concerns. Like, and this is, and part of this too got poisoned for me, because my ex wanted me to get classified as disabled at one point. And I realized later it was because she was about to serve me with divorce papers and thought it would hurt my ability to hold on to access to my child.
Wow. Every time you tell me something, I just,
but like at the time I was like, I do have a lot of issues, and they are real issues, but I don't know, like the fact that I'm able to help myself enough, maybe I don't deserve to call myself that. Maybe but you know what? After that, I was just like, I am not going to want to use this word to describe myself if it's going to undermine my any custody situation I'm in. So I'm you know, it's one of those things where, yeah, and it's one of those things like I am really, but yeah, so I don't. This is my point is like I don't know, maybe it would be valid to use that word to describe myself because I do a lot to adjust things about my life to route around medical issues, but I'm able to manage it, and I'm able to manage it in a way that allows me to be responsible for others, both as a father and as an employer, and as a community member in Hermitcraft. And so I'm just gonna be okay with not applying that word to myself. You know?
I mean, yeah, if it's when people start using it as a cudgel, it's just monstrous. It's monstrous. Taking the struggles, legitimate struggles, and then sorry, I'm now angry. I'm very angry.
I'm not super happy about this either.
Oh no, I'm aware. I'm just I've it's the first time you've told me this.
Well, here's the thing though, is like honestly, compared to like everything else, like it happened to be relevant this time, but it like, I mean, honestly, the whole thing was so stupid. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I just.
I understand, Joe.
Yeah.
I understand.
It was a very frustrating time, and so, like, this is just one of those things where it's like I'm sure that I'll be angrier about this at some point when I've calmed down more about the other things. But compared to a lot of the other things, it's like, oh, this isn't even worth focusing on.
Even on my radar.
It just happened to be relevant to this conversation now, but like.
Yes. It's fine. We're fine.
Let's see. Rachel R says, do you have any tips on pulling out of low spots? I'm having the worst anxiety and depression, and I'm in the middle of my second to last college semester. I've been to lots of doctors who can't find stuff. I mean, for me, I went to a lot of doctors who were absolutely wrong and prescribed me the wrong medication, and I got sicker. And then I went to another one who was in the complete wrong specialty and recognized what it was anyway. So to some degree, keep coming back, because if I hadn't tried going to the asthma, sinus, and allergy program at that point, I would still be on bed rest. And that's not good. You know, so there's that. But also in terms of just like personally managing my kind of, let's say, outlook, because I don't think it's necessarily a mental health thing for me, but like keeping a positive outlook on life even when things are stressful or depressing or whatever, because things can be depressing for you even if you're not clinically depressed, right? Dealing with the divorce and stuff was hard, and for me, having something to look forward to that I could do with other people was always very important, and everyone's different. But for me, starting to stream, one of the reasons I started to stream more after being served with the divorce papers, and then amped it up even further with the pandemic, is when I am upset about something, knowing that I'm going to get to spend time with cool people later that day is really helpful for me. Yeah. And, you know, with the stream, I didn't know who was going to show up on any given day, but, you know, I'd been streaming long enough that, like, there were a lot of regulars, and I knew enough people, and my friends, like, during the pandemic who couldn't come hang out would pop in sometimes, too. And so I just try to find something, and once again, this is a very individualized, like, I'm sharing my experience, not offering you advice, because what motivates you or helps you or encourages you might be completely different. So, you know, experiment with things that you think you might like that are repeatable and not costly, right? Because if you're like, okay, well, every time I'm sad, I'm going to go see an IMAX movie. That's like $26 a ticket in some cities, right? That's a bad thing. Whereas me with streaming, even when I wasn't making money off it, it wasn't really, I was using off the shelf equipment that I already had, So I was at least breaking even, or I had something that I could do every night and not be out an extra few dollars every night. Some nights I was up a few dollars, but I'm not trying to tell you commercialize your mental buoys either. That just happened to be a confluence for
something
me.
that you could do.
But the most important thing about it was it got me around other people. I could look forward to it all day, and it didn't have a financial cost because finances were one of my stressors. And so even if I was like, oh, I'll spend $5 on getting a coffee at the coffee shop as a treat, I would be stressing about spending that $5. Whereas it cost me nothing to stream because I was already paying for the internet, the electricity, the computer I owned because I needed it to do freelance work anyway, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I hope that this is helpful. Cleo, please jump in.
Yeah. No, I'm just thinking that actually being able to hear people talk about that sort of stuff is helpful, but you've got to remember that you are not that person. You are your own person, and how you deal with things is different. When I'm having issues, the thing that I need to make sure that I keep on top of is the day-to-day stuff, because when I'm feeling better, and you look around and you realize that everything has gone to hell because you didn't do the bare minimum, it prolongs it. And I realize that sometimes you can't do the bare minimum, and that's okay. It's just when you can, try and keep things ticking along, because you don't want to come out of it and realize, oh no, I've messed up my house, I've messed up everything, I've messed up my life. You've got to keep on going.
And that's one of the things I like about what we do when we make our videos and do our streams is we're making something that's exactly the sort of thing that I enjoy when I'm doing those chores I don't want to do. Instead of it being one of those things where it's like, I really don't want to clean the kitchen, or I really don't want to prepare a meal. I'm like, oh, I can look forward to watching something on YouTube, or listening to a podcast, or listening to a book on tape. That's instead of, because a lot of my time is very creativity and problem solving focused, with both what my former day job was and what my freelance work is, and then also now the YouTube stuff. And so like that cleaning time, instead of that being maintenance time or like one more obligation around the house, that was something I could look forward to as, oh, this is my get to see what other cool people are making time.
That's true, Cokes.
And so finding ways to, and once again, what was important about this too, partially, is that it wasn't costing me anything. Because like I already had a phone that I could put a video or a podcast on, and I wasn't like going out of my way to spend a bunch of money buying shows on iTunes necessarily. I was mostly enjoying stuff that was free on the internet that people were putting out there. And that, seeing how that impacted my life creates a positive feedback loop, because that makes me more excited about making things for free on the internet for people who might need it,
Yeah. I mean, that's I enjoy being here for people to talk to. And like, I'm like, I wasn't expecting to cry this morning. Thank you very much. I feel seen. We see you, and we try to, I mean, I know I personally try and make sure that, people are at the forefront of what I know Joe does as well, but at the forefront of what I do is like, who is this for? This is for all those people that keep coming back and keep coming and watching, but it's also for me. It's also for, I mean, not only because this is work, and it's work, but also because having this touchstone with Joe and every Wednesday actually keeps me on a bit of an even keel. And I also have like just having this in my life saying, well, this is going to happen regardless, because otherwise I have to explain to Joe why it's not going to happen. And then Joe goes, oh, I'll sort it out. But having that, go on.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's good to be accountable to other people.
Yeah,
because that makes and I'm this is gonna sound kind of, I don't want to sound like I'm talking you up in a weird way, but it makes you feel important when you are accountable to other people. When you have plans with them and you are accountable to them, it reminds you that you have value, your time has value. And that when you're feeling kind of down might be something you need to be reminded of. When you're not feeling down, it doesn't matter in the same way. Yeah. But it's important to make plans where you're accountable to other people. That's one of the things that is a positive feedback loop about me streaming at night. Is even if I'm like, you know, I've been doing, when I, like, especially with my student loans and stuff, it's like, I feel like I'm doing all this work and nothing matters. Nothing ever gets better, because when you're $20,000 in debt, it's not any different than being $30,000 in debt or $10,000 in debt. Anytime I started making more money, I was paying off the debt faster, but my quality of life was the same, right?
Yeah.
And so on some level, it's like, when you feel like nothing you do changes anything, even if you are actively changing things.
I'm not going to woe at this point. Sorry.
It's really important to find ways to feel like you do matter and that you do have value and that your choices impact other people. Feeling impactful is an upside of being accountable. And it's good to me that Cleo and I have this opportunity to be accountable to each other, to say, I'm going to show up and be creative and spend time with you, you know?
Yeah. Sorry, Andra, this is like not the stream for not right now for the OWO. I'll refund you that, and we'll tell me when you want to do another one, and we'll sort it out, but not at the moment.
And thank you very much to Sarah for the tip of 2, who says, don't have much to give, but wanted to give you a big hug. You keep impressing me. Appreciate it. Oh, I realized that you had a name that you put at the end of that. I'm not going to read that now because I don't want to accidentally link that to your real name. But please, if you have a name you want to be called by, put that at the beginning. Sorry, because, like, yeah, it's easier.
Yeah.
Apologies.
Somebody asked me a question that I actually wanted to go back to because I thought it was important, and I've got to find it. Would you call social anxiety and any anxiety all a disability? They are still disabilities. It's okay, Andrew, just tell me next time. Those sorts of things are disabilities, and they can be quite serious disabilities. I've got a friend who's got like official government paperwork, like that they had to go all the way to like the highest courts in the land to get it, you know? And it's like, I think it's very important that you don't make any, like, it's debilitating. And if it's debilitating, it's a disability. And a lot of people think that mental disabilities aren't disabilities because of the way they were raised. And it's fine, Andrew, you're fine. I think it's important that you worry about your mental health, and somebody's just dropped in the, I'm not going to name names, that they've got a therapy appointment. That's a great step. That's a great step. Good luck. And I think going to therapy works wonders. I would suggest it for everyone. Not if you can afford it. And I realize you can't afford it some places. If you can, I think it's helpful.
Yeah. If you're a student, it may be offered by your university. Yeah. There might be opportunities that you're not aware of. So do ask your peers.
Also, make sure that you ask a therapist about when would therapy stop, at what point, because everything should be goal orientated, and like you shouldn't be looking at being in therapy forever. You should be looking at working on your issues, you know. So it is what it is, you know. I'm babbling. I should probably stop at this point because I'm getting really...
Can I jump in with bringing it back to some of the earlier stuff we were talking about? You know, the East Asian philosophy courses I took. One of the things I really liked about Taoism is that it expressly says that labels and names and words are insufficient to express concepts. And it also talks a lot about kind of like what someone maybe should be responsible for or should accept as beyond their limitations, you know? And the idea that it's not my job to classify whether or not something is a disability is very freeing to me. I understand that there are certain medical professionals, this is literally their job. There are certain social workers and people who help people, this is literally their job. But if somebody says to me, Joe, does this make me disabled? Joe, does this count as this kind of illness? My answer straight up is just, that is not what I'm here to do.
No.
That there are people who can help you do that, but it's not my place, you know? And a lot of people get really, when they're trying to define their identity, get really bogged down in very specific jargon and nomenclature, and they get really into taxonomizing everything. And when I think about stuff like that for myself, like when I try to describe myself, like, you know, back to the intentions things, I'm trying to make good things, or I'm trying to do things that are good, that make sense at the time. And it has never at the time made sense for me to really worry about labeling myself or figuring out what words describe me. And that was one of the reasons that, you know, when I was asked about whether I should pursue being classified as disabled, one of the biggest reasons I didn't pursue it was I was like, from a philosophical standpoint, I don't really think about things that way.
No.
And so, like, it's just not my thing, you know? And it's okay for stuff to not be your thing, and to accept that for other people it will be their thing, you know?
Yeah. A deep stream. Yeah, we try sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna actually finish there on a chill note, I think, because, you know, we've gone into some stuff, and I don't think we were expecting things like this.
No, I was gonna draw some silly cats. The thing is, I was still kind of drawing the sketching cats. But you know, that's okay, because next week we can come back and we can work on the table, and we can try and figure out what my D&D character looks like after I pick some of the spells and stuff like that. That could be fun.
Yeah, that'll be cool. That'll be cool. And I think yeah, it's labels are for you and your medical team. They're not for us.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
I think that's important today.
Well, I'm going to say goodbye to you, and then I'm going to acknowledge some tips, and then
I'm going to say goodbye to you, and then I'll speak to you later.
Alrighty. Bye, Cleo.
Bye, Joe.
This has really been good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So Gith says, scream like no one is listening, stream like the river is overflowing, dream like the nightmares can't eat you. I like scream like no one is listening, but I feel like stream like you are overflowing is good. And then dream we could keep working on, but maybe not tonight or today. I do want to thank, we just got 20 that rolled in from Ahime. Ahime, thank you for your continued support of the show, who says, Wednesday mornings are one of my favorite times of the week thanks to your chats with Cleo. They are thoughtful and provocative. Thank you for the opportunity to get to know the human behind the artist. I try. Wait, where's my camera? Oh, sorry. I had OBS in a weird way where I thought that maybe I'd... Okay, cool. The camera is on. Hi. I really should have brushed my hair this morning. I just didn't get to it. But either way, here we go. It's time to expand. It's funny. You can see me knocking the... moving the mouse. Whoa. With my... yeah, that's fun. We should probably hide the Cleo stream because she might raid somebody and I don't know what they're going to be showing. But yeah, so thank you, Ahime, for that. I'm really, really appreciative of y'all being here. I try to demonstrate that appreciation by showing up every day, and I'm glad that I could share a little bit about all of that. Another comment from Rex that came in, I didn't want to interrupt Cleo. Rex said, the day after I got divorced, I ran a session of D&D for my players. I was not going to let her take any more of my joy. See, that's very important for me too, is I feel like if I stop showing up for the people I care about, I'm letting the despair win, or the disappointment, or the stress. And, you know, I kind of used this metaphor the other day when I was trying to explain to people, like, why I feel like some people get really frustrated with me because they feel like when I show up, I'm not all the way there. I'm distracted, I'm tired, I'm exhausted. But, like, I'm showing up because I want to be there. And I regret that I can't be less distracted or less exhausted. I'm trying to restructure my life. I've rebuilt after this medical thing. I rebuilt after the educational debt, and I'm rebuilding after the divorce. And I still have elements of those earlier problems dragging at me as I'm dealing with the latest one. I'm dealing with the pandemic now that we're all dealing with, and we're all in that together. But, like, I'm trying to show up whether I'm at my best or not, and do so in a way that creates as little burden as possible for others. And I appreciate y'all being here and showing up to hang out with me, because honestly, here's what I'm going to tell you. Here's what I'm going to tell you, my goals for the long term. Let's talk about this, actually. Yeah, this is nice. I have so many ideas for fun ways to spend time with y'all that I can't even get to yet. 10 years from now, this stream is going to be so much more fun and so much better. And I appreciate y'all showing up for it now, when I'm proud of what I'm doing. I feel like I'm doing great given my circumstances, but I also know that thanks to y'all's help and your encouragement, I am working to improve those circumstances. And I am going to do an even better show a decade from now. And I'm going to try to do it with a similar regularity and availability and openness. And it's exciting to me when I think about how far I've come since I started streaming back in 2008, or how far I've come since I started working with my friend Art to draw things online in like 2005 when I was first recovering from being sick. Might have been 2006. It was a long time ago, but like, as my, like, not everything is always on a positive slope. And I'm fine with that. I'm good at bouncing back. I'm good at damage control and crisis management and powering through and figuring things out. So, you know what? There's going to be a lot of ups and downs the next few years for everybody. There's too many things weird in the world right now for that not to be true. But I'm going to be here trying to make a good show. And I think that I have consistently done a better show because of y'all's support and because of my ability to manage and overcome the problems I've had. And so I'm excited to be doing this for y'all for a long time, even if I don't know what it looks like exactly in 10 years. You know, we talk about things like I would love to have a woodworking shop and do woodworking craft streams where I've actually got like proper equipment, or you know, a better kitchen where I could do more kitchen-y craft streams. There's all of these things that are very realistically possible, and they're not possible today. They're not possible next month. Like, but you know what? They're possible in the long term. And you know, I'm gonna be here. You know, even if y'all wander off and come back, you know, you're always welcome. New people are going to come in. They'll always be welcome too. But, yeah, this has been a really good stream. And I really appreciate y'all being here. And I thank you for letting me end this on a positive note. 'Cause, yeah, I'm feeling good about this. Let's go ahead and, oh boy. Let's see who we can raid. Well, it looks like our good friend Music Man is playing some hardcore Minecraft on a new world. So we're going to go ahead and raid him. Music Man, professional entertainer. Seriously, if you normally leave before the raids, like, the only thing I will complain about Music Man is he always runs this raid video. It's the same one. And so, like, I raid him all the time, and I'm like, dude, I send people over to you all the time. They've seen this video. So, but other than that, absolutely love everything the guy does. He's a consummate professional entertainer. Before he started streaming, he was a professional musician. He still is, and that makes him just he's good at things in ways I'm not, and I love that, and I'm excited about that. So when you get over there, I hope y'all say, howdy y'all, Joe Hill's raid here. That is going to be our raid message. I'm going to post a link in the YouTube chat for the people on YouTube. Thanks so much again to everybody for coming out. This has been a fantastic stream. So until next time, y'all, this is Joe Hills from Nashville, Tennessee.